This is the link for the Discord chat if you guys would like to join in the conversation. There you go. Let's go ahead and get it going. Okay, test.
Yo, can everyone hear me?
Okay, I'm getting levels for you on my audio mixer, so I think that's a good sign. You guys let me know if you can hear Taking Souls for free. You can hear him loud and clear. Let me know. I can boost his audio if I need to.
Test 1 2 3 4 5 6. I think I should be good.
Yeah, I'm seeing levels, so I'm guessing we're good. Okay, so I guess you guys read the title already. This is a Sonic appreciation stream. So I mean, last time I did a appreciation stream, it was for VillaTube, and he was like our season 1 villain. And Mr. Sonic Mindscape has actually been AWOL for the past month. Okay, it's been a full 4 weeks since he's uploaded anything or basically spoken to us, whatever. And I don't know if he's taken a break or a hiatus, whatever, but I wanted to kind of bait him into a conversation because there was a few people that wanted to speak to him, actually, because they saw some of the clips, some of the shorts that I did, and they wanted to kind of speak to Sonic and see if they could pick his brain a little bit. So I was like, well, you know, I can try to host a Sonic stream and maybe he'll see it and maybe he'll come in. If not, we'll just keep, you know, discussing the videos I have lined up basically for this, and you know, we can just go through it until he shows up. But if he doesn't show up, then it is what it is. But yes, so there should be somebody joining possibly in the next couple minutes, but we shall see. Okay. Anyway, is everybody else there? Is Ghost there? I guess not. I guess he's just hanging out. Okay, so Cookmanny says Sonic is the Suzuki to your Naruto. Starts off as your ally and then became your OP. My op. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. See, I wanted to kind of do the kind of like the genesis of like how we started out, and how we started out very cordial. But I kind of rewatched the first time me and Sonic met when he actually had me on his channel. And even before that, there was the video that he did on my call into Fresh and Fit. And, you know, I thought we had like a nice beginning, whatever, but we also kind of had like, you know, I don't know, maybe different mindset in terms of like, you know, creating content and stuff. I guess the way I wanted to start off this stream, I wanted to show the one video that probably pertains to where Sonic is right now in terms of his content. So let me go ahead and pull that up right now.
Okay, while you're at it, do you think you can share your screen?
Yes, I'm about to do that right now. Let's go here. There you go. Now we're good to go. And so this is the video. This one is called... Oh, well, yeah, just so you guys can see. So this is Sonic's page. His, you know, he's sitting at like 1.3, 2K subscribers, whatever. Last month, actually, was his last video that he did. And it was basically on trad wives, losing the plot and stuff. And before that, it was the woman should absolutely propose to men, you know? And then after that, he's just kind of gone dark, okay? Nothing in terms of shorts, nothing in terms of lives. And so I'm kind of wondering where he's at. I messaged him on Instagram. I let him know that we were going to be doing an appreciation stream, you know? And if he could just, you know, pop his head in and say what's up. So let me get to that video. So this is the video that's by Sonic that I think kind of pertains to the way he, you know, probably what he's going through right now. Maybe he needs to detox from social media. And I think it kind of pertains to what's going on right now. So let's check it out. Tia Joseph says, I'm here. I'm just waiting for my kid to go to sleep. Okay, no worries, dude. So let's go ahead and get started. This is content creating isn't fun for me anymore. Let's check it out.
I don't know if you guys have ever attempted to create content online, but if you guys have, some of you guys may understand just how difficult it can be. Or if some of you guys have created content but enjoyed it, then perhaps you guys have found something that you truly enjoy. Unfortunately, however, for myself, I do enjoy creating content. But the only problem is that I don't enjoy it right now. I don't enjoy creating content. And that's mainly because of the massive burden that I have to carry when creating a piece of content. So let me go ahead and just give you guys a bit of context. My name is Sonic. I am I run this channel, right? And also I like to create content based off of content creators and what they say. They can either say some really true statements that I agree with, or they can say statements that are completely inflammatory and are meant to rage bait. These content creators consist of people like Myron Gaines, Sneeko, Ethan Klein, all of these people. I like to talk about them. However, as of recent, I have not been enjoying it. And the reason why is because oftentimes I create a piece of content that lasts for days. So let me go ahead and give you guys a insight. Let me give you guys some insight into how I create a piece of content. Okay, so first off, I'll go online, I'll surf the web, and I'll look for something to talk about. I'll spend hours, even days, looking for someone or something to talk about. And oftentimes when I find something to talk about, I'm excited, but then I have to go do the actual research, which means that when they say a statement, like let's use Sneeko, because I made a video, or making a video on Sneeko. He said something that was very interesting. Now I have to go look for the actual source, and sometimes it's very difficult to find the actual source because I don't know where that particular statement was said. But once
Coke Betty says season 1, the Villa Tube arc, season 2, the Sonic arc, season 3, Hustlers disassembled. I don't know about that. I think this is maybe just a rough patch that Sonic is going through. I don't know. Like I wanted I messaged Kavos too, because Kavos is like his close friend and stuff. I figured it would be maybe good to find out if he's okay, because I messaged him. I was like, yo, is Sonic even alive, dude? Like, I don't know. Like I didn't want to put it out there that maybe he's just taking a break from the internet and stuff. But like, I think he goes through these ebbs and flows of like creating content where he has to like take some time off just so that he can kind of reset himself, or maybe like, I don't know, rebrand his content. Because when he did this video, he was under 1,000 subscribers, but he was also doing kind of like, the Red Pill weekly content, like the stuff that I do. And then he started moving towards like more like live reactions of videos, and those were a lot shorter and a lot easier to produce. And he was cranking those videos out. He was probably doing like 3 or 4 of those a day, and he was doing well with that. And then he went into this whole political arc where he was talking a lot about drama going on with the president and stuff with wars and stuff. And then he just got burnt out on that, and he just wanted to go back to stuff that was fun to talk about. So the process of picking your content and not getting bored with it yourself, it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess you got to kind of love what you do in order to keep doing it. I do remember one of his words saying that he was getting frustrated that his message wasn't getting out, or people weren't, I guess, responding to the message, or he had all these subscribers, but like he wasn't getting a lot, I guess, the engagement that he wanted. He got like haters and stuff like that, and he doesn't like haters. But you guys know me over here. I love haters, dude. Like I feed off the hate. But I was like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. Like if you get haters, man, at least you're doing something right if people are tuning in and they got something to say. I mean, there's no bad engagement, So that's pretty much what I was thinking. I was like, dude, like don't let this stuff get you down. Just keep pushing forward, So let's see what else he's got to say here.
I find it after like 30 to an hour. I'll find it, then I have to watch the entire piece of content, which could be anywhere from like 1 hour to 2 hours, depending if it was a podcast or not.
Watch it on 2 times speed. I mean, you can still understand what's going on. I don't really see an issue with that,
And then after that, I have to take other pieces to make sure that I can combine whatever he said in those other moments in the podcast, and make sure that I can provide an actual concrete context. Then after that, I have all the clips. I will sit down, write an outline, and make a challenging perspective where I know for a fact that it's very difficult to challenge. It's going to be concrete because I'm doing my research. And then after that, I'll write the jokes. All of that takes about a couple days. Believe it or not, like 3 to 4 days. It takes that long to do that. And the reason why it's a burden is because when I'm talking about that topic, after like the second day into that particular video, I no longer want to create that video anymore, because that topic it's boring now. I don't want to talk about it. After the 4th day, I don't.
Taking Souls Free, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, so do you think that maybe like his attention span has something to do with him getting bored with the topic at hand?
I was thinking more so of like if he doesn't agree with the topic, he just wouldn't bother doing the research on it, because he seems pretty stubborn in his ways from like your recent debates.
Right.
Like he's not a very open-minded person as much as he used to be.
Uh-huh.
'Cause I remember in the very beginning, you guys would debate. He would be open-minded. He didn't like one thing that comes to mind specifically was when you guys had the tipping debate.
Oh,
and
one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a classic. You guys had I think it was like 2 or 3 rounds worth. And I remember after the first one, you kind of schooled him. Well, I don't want to say you schooled him. You just like you provided good points.
Well,
and he was open to learning more about it.
I mean, I think it was just like, I mean, I wasn't even coming from a place of like authority. I mean, I was like, dude, I have experience in this, so where he did not, so for him to have like the certain views about like not tipping or thinking that $5 is a good tip no matter how much the amount is, I was like, yeah, that's kind of something you just need to, you're just not educated about that. It's like 20% is what we're always gunning for. Hold on, Steven. Hi, camp chat. Is AJ on here tonight? You know what? I sent him an invite to the stream. If he would like to chat, he's more than welcome to. I know he likes to stay up late and stuff, so he might be popping in here later. So, but no, I appreciate you coming to the stream, Steve. I think you joined as one of the members and stuff, so I appreciate that. That really surprised me. I was like, wow. Like, I think I have 69 cents estimated in my revenue now. I was like, holy shit, dude. Holy shit. Like, that's pretty crazy. But no, pretty cool. But I mean, getting back to what you were talking about, like Sonic, I think, yeah, he was a lot more open-minded, but I think he was still trying to feel things out in terms of like when he first, came in contact with me and stuff. So I think he was just kind of like being a little easygoing and stuff. But then as like time went on and more ideas got thrown out and more opinions got thrown out, I think he started to just the disagreement started to mount up, and he was just like, yeah, I'm not he started to kind of look at me as like an echo chamber, like everybody else in the red pill and fresh and fit and stuff. And he was like, yeah, he's like, you're not good for men either, And,
yeah, it was just kind of strange to me. I remember like in the beginning, you guys would actually agree on a lot of concrete like topics.
Yeah.
And then it just came to a point where like he doesn't agree with anything you're saying. And which is like, that's not like a big deal. But like I feel like there are certain things that you say that are just like you can't really argue them, it's like just common sense,
Right. Yeah. But I think with Sonic, I think over time he just started to just I thought he was just being like a contrarian, to be I guess like to really kind of entertain the stream and stuff, because I think you said that before. He said that like he will kind of amp things up and maybe like hard disagree on stuff, or maybe say certain things to like kind of get people going, to kind of keep the stream entertaining and stuff. But I was like, you don't have to do that, it's like, let's just have a normal back and forth, we don't have to try to like one up each other and stuff. But I mean, I do appreciate it because I got a lot of great clips out of it, and
yeah,
I think that's kind of what has kind of drawn a lot of people, at least in terms of like, recently to the stream, because the stuff that I talked about to Sonic, mainly about the whole woman proposing thing, that was a very polarizing topic for a lot of people. Like there was more people that were in agreements with, kind of like traditional sense that, men should be the one doing the proposing and women should be the one kind of, like they just didn't agree with it, like women taking over and doing that. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it just seems like it's easier for a woman and to, I guess, be, I don't know, like swept off her feet and stuff. Like she doesn't want to have to take up on that pressure. And also, there is that possibility that she could be rejected, So yeah, I would think, she, a woman wouldn't want to put herself through that. But then I think Sonic, it started when he was just like, yeah, I think we should applaud this. I think that was where that was like the really beginning where we started to diverge, like drastically, like the whole tipping thing. I think that was just like a inexperience on his part. And then he kind of like went out there after we had our talk, got a little bit of perspective and came back. And, like we had kind of a little bit of a common ground, but then like he kind of reverted back like a couple videos later. And then I had to like get reeled back into the whole tipping conversation. And then we just started talking about what it means to be a man. And I think that was kind of like the origin of where we just completely realized how different we were, in terms of our outlook, at least,
Right. Yeah. I actually have been caught up with the most recent debate. I believe you guys had a debate recently. I think about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the one about what it means to be a man?
That one, no. That one, what it means to be a man was a lot earlier. That was like I think a year ago, actually.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think what I did, I put that stream under the debates because that technically was a debate, but I just never had it under that category. So, no, I want to say the most recent one was the one about where was it? Where is it? I gotta look at it again because under my stuff I set it to where the one we were just talking about. I think it was about women. Where was it? Oh yeah, women proposing to men. That's the most recent one. That one's from a month ago. And then also debating on female attractiveness and how we didn't see it eye to eye. Like basically, I used that whole stream to like prove my point when I said that my fives are hotter than your fives. Like I was being funny, but then it actually, I proved it, because then the stuff that I was saying in terms of like who I thought was a 5 and who he thought was a 5, it was drastically different, and then, his 10 was actually my 5. So that made my whole statement completely true without him even trying, and I just thought it was funny, I thought it was great, but I don't know. I think he's still writing for Sydney Sweeney still, and I think we just agree to disagree on that.
Yeah.
But
yes, master debater Sonic.
Yeah, man. But no, I'm wondering like if he's just taking a break because he maybe he's had time to like see all of the different shorts and stuff and just kind of take it all in, and maybe he just like I don't want to associate with him anymore because he's no longer in the Discord. Like I
didn't even know that.
I realized that. I was like, but he's still on Instagram. He's still like friends with me on Instagram. So I was like, maybe he just hasn't, remembered to take that off. But yeah, he's not part of the Discord anymore. So I don't know. What's going on with him.
How often do you guys stay in touch with each other?
Well, that's the thing. I haven't spoken to him since the last time we debated.
Oh my god.
So that's about a month now,
I remember him joining streams every single week with us and hopping on VC and just chatting with the hustlers, and now maybe it is something personal. Or I guess he just doesn't agree with your probably one of those people who just when they don't agree with you, they just dislike you as a person, I guess. Those are like the worst other people to be around. Like, but that's kind of what it sounds like.
That's kind of why I have some of these videos lined up, because the very first conversation we had, well, not the very first, I'm sorry, because he made a video first where he invited me on his stream, and it was a very cordial thing. But then, like, I remember saying on that stream that, like, I give my friends, my close friends, like, shit all the time. Like, I will basically, like, we'll roast each other. And I was like, if you can roast me back or you can, like, give me the shit back and stuff, then, like, we can be friends and stuff, because it's just kind of a mutual understanding thing. It's not like you shouldn't have your feelings hurt, because if your feelings get hurt, then we can only go so far in terms of, like, our friendship, but if you can take the heat, and you can come back and you can dish it back out, then yeah, I mean, we can be cool. But let's see. Coke Money says, I remember in one of your debates telling him something about you manipulating us and making him look bad. Yeah, no, that's true. But I told him it was his answers that make him look bad. It's not me. Like, I asked him when it came to, like, the girls that he was hanging out in his friend group, if he was like one of the girls or if he was one of the guys. And I was like, look, it's a pretty simple question. And Kavos was in that conversation and he was just listening in. He wasn't really talking. But so I asked Sonic, I was like, well, were you one of the girls or were you one of the guys in the situation?
I remember
and he didn't know how to answer that question.
Yeah. He wanted you, like, to reword it like a couple. I remember this actually. I was watching this live. I was like,
I'm like, bro, it's so easy, dude. Like, do you need to, like, you need to unzip and look down to like remind yourself or something? Like, and that was another thing. Like, he doesn't really argue for men in most of our debates. Like, he always puts women first, or he always argues from the female position, you know? And
Right.
I noticed that. I picked up on that, and I was like, I think I even said it in one of our debates and stuff. Like, he's like, because I think it was AJ. AJ was in the stream, and we were talking about. He said, you know, oh no, Sonic was like, why wouldn't you ever hit a woman? And AJ and I at first I said, I was like, well, yeah, it's just wrong to hit a woman, you know. But then AJ said that if what did he say? God damn it. He said, you know, if it's like self-defense and stuff, and she's like threatening my life, she's got like a weapon or something like that, it's like, yes, I will definitely, you know, defend myself. But for the most part, you know, it will just take one hit and the woman's down, you know, and it's not going to look good when the cops show up and you're like, well, it was self-defense, you know. It's just like,
Yeah.
but you know, that's the thing. Like, I think, you know, you just don't hit a woman if you don't have to, you know, make it as a super, super last resort. But I guess the way Sonic was thinking about it, he's just like, well, he's like, I don't get it. Like, I look at women and men as like equal and stuff, you know? And I was like, well, that's wrong, you know? Okay, wait, hold on. Cook Benny said, was that wrestling butt naked stream? Yes, that was.
I remember that.
Yes, that was. And you know what? I don't know if you guys saw my recent video I did, because I basically did some videos to just kind of like chop up those streams. And that what he's referring to is this one here. This one's called He Said What? The line between funny and weird. Let's watch this real quick.
You guys are gonna question that. I mean, this is the same girl that like I told you where like
It's funny
I
watching
texted
myself
her,
here.
that I was like I know this is gonna sound cringe, but I texted her like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go. What did I say? That I'm gonna go wrestle butt naked now or something like that. And then she's all like, I wish I could join you, or I wish I was there. She said something like that, and I was like,
You really should have
oh, I can
capitalized
invite you
on
over
that
now if
one,
you like.
champ.
So like tomorrow. And I knew that at that moment she wanted to fuck, but I didn't go and pick her up. I was like, nah, fuck that. Like, I ain't trying to fuck with this girl, you know? Like, I'm not doing that.
Dude, was this clipped? Please tell me this is clipped.
Oh, absolutely. This is like a 13-minute clip, dude. So yeah, the title of the video is The Line Between Funny and Weird. And yeah, this is like, I had to clip this because I thought it was like, it was one of the funniest things ever, you know?
I think I left a comment on the original stream, actually. I couldn't believe he said that. I don't know if I left it on the clip.
I remember
But
you
yeah.
did. Yeah. You left the timestamp and everything. But it's like, if you don't like the girl, you wouldn't be talking like that, right? You wouldn't.
Yeah, of course not, yeah.
And he's just like, well, I just say whatever to, you know, get a reaction and stuff like that. But I was just like, I don't know, man. I think, I don't know. I felt like he wasn't telling us everything, you know? But, I mean, who's to say? I mean, that's why I thought it was important for him to kind of clarify his position and stuff and kind of, you know, give us a little more insight about what was going on. Because I'm like, you know, if you're hanging out with like one chick or you're hanging out with a bunch of girls, or if it's like a mixture of guys and girls, like I think I needed to know that dynamic. So that's why I asked that question. You know, I was like, are you talking to girls like this because you're like one of them? You know, like they're not going to like, they don't feel threatened, you know, by you or whatever. Like they think you're like a completely safe guy. It's crazy that I got him on here with a scrunchie. But let's just zoom in on that. But so anyway, like, you know, like the fact that he didn't know how to answer the question. And then when I asked Cabos, I was like, hey, so was I speaking like a different language or whatever? Is it hard to understand when I say, hey, were you one of the guys or one of the girls? And he's like, well, you did kind of explain it to me, whatever. And I was like, well, he was right here. He's still right here. He's listening right now. And Sonic was like, yeah, I still don't understand. I'm like, he doesn't understand, dude. Like, but you know, when I don't know, I felt like I explained it and I didn't know how to break it down anymore. You know, I thought it was simple enough.
Yeah. I thought it just seemed like he was thinking about it way too hard. I think he was trying to find a counter in case you got him in like a gotcha moment.
That's what he
thinking
thought.
about it too
No,
hard.
he totally thought that. He thought that I was basically trying to set him up so I can get a clip or whatever. And I'm like, no, you know, like just tell me the answer. That way we can move forward and I can like move forward with my line of questioning. But no, I think, yeah, he was thinking way too hard about it. And I think that might be another issue, is that he gets like stuck on certain words and phrases and stuff. And I think even when AJ was in the stream and we were talking about women proposing to men, and why that's kind of like wrong, because you're taking away the man's agency to choose his wife. Like that's kind of like the one thing that we can do and make the big decision for our life. But if a woman does it, it's like, I don't know, it's like you're just kind of moving into her frame, and it's like the roles are reversed, and I don't know, some people, they look at the whole woman proposing to men as like, oh, like that's really player, that a woman chose you out of all these other guys and stuff. Like she, like, not really, because you got to think about it, she's basically forcing you to be in the position where you got to take a bullet for her, because at least that's what we do as as husbands. Like that's kind of like our mindset, that if we have a wife, then we should be willing to die for her. Like this is the woman that we choose, that we would put it all on the line for. And if her life was in danger and we had to sacrifice ourselves to save her, like, yeah, we would absolutely do it. But then I brought that question to Sonic, and I said, hey, like, would you take a bullet for the person that you're with, or would you expect her to take a bullet for you, equally? And he was like, well, I need to think about it.
It's kind of concerning.
Well,
very concerning. Actually.
Well, I was like, do you know how fast bullets travel?
Yeah.
Considering most bullets break the sound barrier.
Yeah, so you got to think about it. I'm like, well, I think you should have your mind made up before you put in that situation, at least. But yeah, I don't know. Like the thing is, I think things have just grown, very contentious, and I think enough time has passed to where whatever he's feeling from, I guess the fallout from all of these videos, maybe he's just like, it might be just better off to just kind of just separate himself, But the reason why I'm trying to like host this whole appreciation stream is to let him know. I think I even told him in the stream too. It's like, dude, there's no hatred, there's no resentment. It's like, I like that we disagree on certain things, and we can actually have like a good back and forth. Like I don't have to agree with everything you think about, and I'm completely fine with you not agreeing with me. But I think we can still be civil about it, and maybe even split some of the people that are watching us up, and they can kind of chime in and offer their own perspective. I don't know. I think it's great. I don't want to be the type of person where like everybody agrees with me, and whatever. Like I want people to challenge me and stuff. And I said that, so I didn't want him to get the wrong idea that I'm not out to make him look bad, but I'm just like, dude, these answers that you're coming up with, you're not really, I mean, you're making yourself look bad. Your answers are making yourself look bad. I can't do that. Only you can do that.
Yeah, I agree with you that I don't think there's anything wrong with having someone.
Some of his answers were really, I mean, what is the right word here?
To me, it felt like he was playing devil's advocate, though. I'm not sure if that's actually how he feels about certain topics, or if he's just trying to play devil's advocate.
Maybe,
but
yeah.
But normally, when you play devil's advocate, you normally saying, "Well, if we think about things this way, and we try and look at things from this angle, what do we think then?" That's normally how I would perceive devil's advocate. He was saying it more like he believed it.
Yeah.
Well, then that's concerning. I'm joking.
Well, I mean, the fact that he views men and women as equals, and like this whole thing about like women approaching men and stuff, like that's just a fundamental difference that we have. It's like almost like a fundamental different way that we like live our lives. Because that really affects everything. That affects the way that you talk to people and approach people, and he has this whole thing where like he's just like Xing out all of his friends and just kind of like being this lone wolf and stuff. And I'm like, dude, we're social creatures, man. It's like if you're a man alone for too long, you're going to become this like uncompromisable person that, it's going to be your way or no way at all. And you're going to be really difficult to talk to, and that's not just women. That's just like men and women, But I don't know. I want to keep seeing. I want to show more about this. This whole content creation is not fun. I kind of think this has another big deal to do with it.
I don't even want to do the video anymore because I'm already over it, but I still have to try to finish it. So oftentimes when you guys see content online, some of those videos took a while to make, and I was done at the end of it. You know, there was so much more that I wanted to add, but I just couldn't because I was just so tired of the video and I just wanted to move on from the topic. And sometimes I'll create a piece of content where it's so close to being finished, but I'll never finish it and I'll never release it. And the reason why is because I just can't get through it. I just cannot finish it because I just get so bored from the video. So
I guess that's kind of bad, you know, when like your content, I guess when you move on from a topic and you're like still in the editing stage, it's like sometimes you just gotta like cut things down, you know, and just get it out there, and don't be so critical about your content, you know.
Do you think this is a sign of burnout?
I was thinking that. I was thinking that, you know, because he had a lot of pressure, you know, after he got monetized and stuff to like just churn out content, and he was going like really hard. You know, he was doing like 3 to 5 videos like per day, and I was like, dude, that's a recipe for disaster, dude. You know, like I get it if this is like your only job, you don't have any other way that you're bringing in money and stuff like that, and you just dive all in. But I don't know if that's the case or not. You know. But no,
because at a certain point it just burns you out. I think 5 years a day is crazy.
I mean,
right.
Most professional YouTubers do 3 videos tops per day.
And you know, there are people that, you know, can crank it out, or they have editors and stuff that kind of take the weight off of them. So it's like they're able to do that, or they pay for these like AI clip clip makers or whatever, and they just do it that way. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's ways to do it to where you can be a little bit more efficient about it. But I know that Sonic has his process of doing things. And, you know, it's like, for one, if the topic doesn't really interest him, I think he's just doing it because it's topical. And then, you know, he does all the research and stuff, and then he puts it out, but he doesn't, you know, by then maybe he's just like, he's bored of it. I'm like, dude, still put it out, you know. It's like, don't kind of take yourself out of it, and don't make it for yourself, make it for your viewers, you know. I don't know. The whole reason I'm doing this, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this because I think that, you know, I'm a little concerned, you know, because the fact that he has kind of like gone AWOL. I don't know if any of you guys are concerned, or if you guys even gave it any thought. But, you know, I would hope that if I disappeared for a month, you know, you guys would be asking questions, you know?
Oh, yeah, I would notice for sure. I check every Saturday before I sleep to see if I was kept live.
And you know what, dude, I will message you guys, or I'll leave a post,
reach out
and I'll let you know. I'll let you know, like, hey, I can't do a stream tonight. My internet's down or something like that. I'll let you guys know why I can't show up. And, but, you know, I would think since Sonic has like, you know, like over 1,000 subscribers, whatever, like he's letting these people down, you know, or maybe he doesn't care. I don't know. Who's to say? You know, like I don't know his audience. I only know my audience, and the people that, you know, have subscribed to me recently. You know, I had that interview with AJ. What was it, like 2 days ago? Or you guys check that out. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
I got to take a look at that.
Yeah, it's good. It was a good one. And you know, it's cool because we just had a nice little chill talk about, you know, the red pill, and, you know, is it dying? Is it going to be around in the next couple of years and stuff? You know, we talked about Fresh and Fit. We talked about the Tates and stuff. And then we talked about my call in, you know, which, you know, I always got stuff to talk about that, you know. And that was just, I mean, it was cool because there were 2 people that had joined the stream that I guess were like huge fans of that clip. And he said, he was like, yeah, dude, whenever I'm having a bad day, I just go back and I watch that. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. I love hearing that shit.
So, I remember
that was the first time I actually heard that. I was laughing at work when I listened to that, Camp.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
same. I used to work outside a lot, and all I would play because I would always need like a long video to kill time,
yeah,
and I would my first video would always be the call-in show, your first call-in with
yeah,
them. I
yeah.
loved it.
Oh
You
man,
just
that's
Oh,
awesome.
Camp,
it was
they're
like
doing those call-in shows again. If you want to try and get back on.
Are they every
That'd be-
Friday, or
that'd be
are they just random?
No, they're every Friday again.
Oh shit! See, this is how much out of the loop I am, dude. Like I haven't been paying attention close enough. But no, that's cool, man. Good to know, because you know, I would love to. I mean, of course, I don't need to be prepared, and have stuff to say, because that whole T-shirt thing, man, I had that whole thing fucking mapped out on how I was gonna do it, and now I got to think of a whole nother way that I would jump in,
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I do think that Fresh and Fit are kind of played out, Like I'm surprised that they're even still on, But it's fun to rip on them. It was fun to kind of rewatch the call-in thing, because I literally haven't watched it in so long. So it's like when you're so far removed from watching something and you watch it again, it's almost kind of like you're on the outside now watching it, So I actually got to enjoy it for like the first time in such a long time, So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I have that on here. I wanted to. Well, I have his video. Have you guys seen the video that Sonic made of my call-in?
No, I haven't.
I didn't even know he made one.
I thought that would be a treat, because that was the very first video that was our introduction. So basically, let's just finish this video. As far as content creating is not fun, we kind of got the idea. Like the process is long. He gets bored with a topic, and yeah, he just goes through these times where he needs to like take a break and relax, whatever, and figure it out. So that's the end of that video. I'm
Scripting is the longest part for me.
What's that?
Scripting is the longest part for me.
Oh yeah.
The one that I'm working on right now, I'm surprised that news media sources haven't picked it up yet.
Oh shit. Well, that's why I don't script, because that would hold me back, unless I have to like prepare for a topic. I'm gonna have notes and everything, but for more scripts, I just don't do that. I'd rather do like an outline at most, and at least that can keep me on track, especially if I'm doing like a debate or something. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What I do, I do that mostly for the videos I make. I don't really do that for the live streams.
Yeah. Gotta keep it free flow. So this is the video. It's called "Caller Says Fresh is Useless," and this is a very old video. This is like 2 years old. Sonic looks way different in this video. Take a look.
It's been a long time since I've talked about Fresh and Fit, and I miss the fellas. So I decided to go pay them a visit. And I came across this video that I thought was very interesting.
He looks
it's
so
a
much
caller
happier
who
in
is
this
calling.
video.
He's got the light in his eyes, dude.
Yeah.
That light has gone out.
Into the Fresh and Fit, and all I have to say is that this caller destroyed Fresh, right? Fresh's confidence left the chat. Fresh was so unbelievably quiet, beat up. He didn't say one word when that caller was roasting him, that at the end of that call, I thought that Fresh was gonna ask Myron for a hug. So let's go ahead and break down the call, as well as Fresh's stoic expression throughout the entire video.
From watching your show, been watching your show for a while, and I believe that you could relegate Fresh's contribution to the podcast to 4 buttons on your stream deck. I also have a book that has been already written on Fresh's contribution to the show. It's called "Why Myron Deserves Fresh."
Before I continue, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Camp Hustle 1, who is the caller.
Jeez, look at that, dude. That's the old fucking channel. Look at that, dude. 506 subscribers. That's insane. Damn.
Your banner is up there now, right?
This banner is old, bro. Like I don't
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
This is basically the setup. And I want to let you guys know each item on this desk was individually placed. Like it was created from a vector and scaled into like shape and stuff and size, whatever, and just individually placed on screen. So this is an actual photo, like this was basically constructed. One of my proudest things I ever did, and then I just fucking got rid of it. I mean, this is literally what my desk looks like right now. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, dude.
Called out Fresh, and of course all of the material that I'm going to provide here, or ideas, these are all of Camp Hustle's ideas. So I want to go ahead and just give him the shout out. The link is down below if you guys want to go check out his page. I just want to go ahead and give credit to the owner. All right, so the thesis of this entire call is that Fresh barely contributes to the show. And of course, I don't know if you heard that last clip where he talked about having a book where it reads Why Myron Deserves Fresh. It's kind of a parody of Why Women Deserve Less. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious because he actually has a photoshopped cover of what the book could potentially look like in the future. And if you're expecting a book to be about 100 pages long, highlighting Fresh's contributions to the show, you can be greatly disappointed. That book is only going to be about 3 pages long, which means that it's going to be a thin ass book. That book is so thin. Let's just say hypothetically you got bored halfway through, even though it's like 3 pages long. You would need to use tooth floss to keep track of your reading progress. You can't use a bookmark because it'll be too big. That's like attempting to park a 747 Boeing airplane into your driveway. It just doesn't work like that. All in all, what I'm trying to say is that Fresh's contributions, according to the fan base, are nowhere to be seen. You could slap Fresh's contributions onto the back of a milk carton, label it missing, and no one would ever find it. Now, I want to go ahead and highlight a couple of Camp Hustle's arguments because I thought they were pretty good. And here, they're talking about how Fresh's contributions are mostly behind the scenes, and I thought that the argument was pretty good.
Caller, you understand that to do this show and do this production at this level requires a lot of things to be done behind the scenes, right?
Absolutely.
So you may not necessarily see and appreciate the things that Fresh does, but we would not be here had he not been here.
Which I thought was bullshit because he literally said like 15 minutes, well, not 15 minutes, like probably like 5 minutes before this, that anything behind the scenes in terms of like technical, like lighting, camera equipment, you know, basically the whole aesthetic of the podcast, Fresh had nothing to do with that because he's not technical like that. So he said, yeah, it was basically Myron, Bills, and Big Mo, whatever, and a couple other people that were basically throwing together the podcast. And you know, he said it was not Fresh's thing. So I was like, okay, so what does he actually do if he's just the money? You know, like if he's just the money, he doesn't belong on the podcast. You know, he doesn't belong like in front of the camera. You know, but that was like you still can't say that. Oh, I do stuff behind the scenes. It's like, well, you know, you don't do shit behind the scenes, dude. You know, because Myron already outed you.
Fresh could be behind the scenes, though. That's what I'm saying. I think that one show where you had Chris in his place, way better. Hey, y'all, I know you guys like rag on Chris, but Chris is way funnier than Fresh.
Okay.
That's not even an opinion. That's an objective fact.
Listen, man, I've never seen anybody single-handedly destroy or even shred Fresh the way Camp Hustle did just now. And what's crazy is that the fact that he said that even Chris is funnier than Fresh, that's quite a comparison. And the reason why is because even Myron and Fresh, even they agree that Chris, every now and then he'll say something funny.
Yo, Chris, that was a funny joke. I'll give you a plus on. Good job.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
That's the first time Chris made a funny joke in a while, bro. So
I'm impressed.
I'm actually very impressed on that one.
When I hear
Damn, too bad he didn't let us actually hear the joke. I just thought about that. Damn. You just got to see the aftermath. But you know, like I will kind of eat my words. Like I don't think Chris is better than Fresh. I think they're kind of equals now. Like Chris is horrible. He's a horrible host. And I don't know if you guys have seen the streams where it's like Fresh and Chris. Those are unwatchable, downright. And yeah, I hate that shit.
Myron speak those words, it makes me think that Chris is very rarely funny on the show. So imagine if Camp Hustle is comparing Fresh's sense of humor with Chris's. That is monumental. Essentially what Camp Hustle did was he lowered the bar so unbelievably low, at least based off of what Myron and Fresh are indicating about Chris's sense of humor. This means that Fresh has rarely ever, based off of that standard, ever been funny on the show. And I can kind of agree with that because I don't remember the last time Fresh was funny on the show. I don't even remember him saying anything clever or even anything remotely funny.
Okay, but see, you see how Sonic is acting about this? Like he's in agreement with me in terms of how like Fresh's contributions to the show and stuff, and just kind of like everything I think about Fresh. But didn't he kind of back Fresh and say that he's like he's very entertaining at one point. Do you guys remember that? Hello, are you guys there?
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember that when he said that? When he was like, he was kind of damn, I'm trying to think of it, because I know Taking Souls for Free, you probably remember, because I think you were watching me back then. So we basically had like a disagreement on Fresh. Like, I basically said that Fresh doesn't need to be on the show, and Sonic had this position that Fresh is needed, and it was just like, this is weird that you're backing Fresh, and we completely, like, that was another thing we didn't see eye on. I don't know. What were you gonna say?
If all Fresh provides is money, why does he even need to be on the show and just be a silent partner?
Yeah, because Myron's putting in money too, and if Myron just didn't split his money with Fresh, then he can just fund the podcast and reinvest the money and stuff. Because we already know that on the 305 podcast with Gary the Numbers Guy and Fresh and stuff, like, nobody watches that, like, he can barely get like 30 people watching and shit.
Oh, Camp, I'm pretty sure it's accurate to say I have more charisma in my pinky than I think Fresh does.
Yeah.
If he's got money and that's all he's got, well, good for him, I guess. But if that's all he's got going for him, he's got a lot of work to do.
Well, I already said this when I was on the stream with AJ. I was like, dude, money can't unlame a lame, dude. It can't. If you're awkward with women, which we've seen, you're just going to be super awkward with women when you have money, and you're going to fool yourself into thinking that you're good with women because you pay for box. So
that's not how that works.
No, of course. I'm just like, if you take 2 seconds to like put yourself in the shoes of Fresh, you kind of trick yourself into thinking, I'm actually good with women now that I have money. Like, no. It's like, you don't realize that they're just fleecing you, and you're an easy mark, basically.
Yeah, that's a real good way to get used and abused by a woman easily.
Yeah. Coke Penny's like, oh, how could I forget? Yeah, dude, I remember out the whole, me and Sonic disagreeing on, Fresh being useful or useless to the stream. I was like, dude, or to the podcast. I was like, dude, it's like the fact that you're trying to argue for Fresh being there. It's I got a hard pass, man. I can't get on board with that. You're just wrong. But let's keep going.
Yeah. Only times that Fresh is funny, at least in my eyes, and what I listen to, is when Fresh, he attempts to give an opinion, and then like at the end of it, he'll be like, nah.
That's what she said. That's a logical answer here. Just give me your opinion. If you have sex on camera and you get paid for it, what are you?
You're a porn star or a sex worker. Okay. By definition, yeah.
But technically speaking, logically speaking, if we're going to go by definitions, wouldn't that make you a... Finish it?
What a pussy. Just say it.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Fresh, right. Come on, man. I'm going to leave it there. Fresh!
Congratulations. Like, he can get to A plus B, but he can't get to the damn equal sign.
Yeah, dude. Taking Souls Free says, I'm going to hop off, but thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, I appreciate you joining, dude, for the appreciation stream. Maybe Sonic might see this and, maybe he'll come out of his hole and stuff. But if not, we'll probably do a part 2, maybe not next week, but, pick this up if he doesn't surface, because, I'm genuinely concerned. But no, I appreciate you coming out, Taking Souls Free. Take care of yourself, dude.
Tracked because he just, for
Cabos
some reason,
gonna join in.
I messaged him. I invited him and stuff, so he'll probably be joining pretty soon. We'll see.
Well, kind of hoping AJ joins. It's always interesting when things get more interesting when AJ joins.
Well, yeah, we'll see. He's a busy man too.
Whenever he looks at a woman eye to eye, he just has to look away. At least that's the impression I get, that this is like weakness from him. Now, I do want to go ahead and say that I don't see
weakness. I mean, his last name is Weeks, man. I mean, he lives up to his name at least. We've seen how awkward he is with women, and now this whole thing with I don't know if you saw their most recent. Actually, yeah, you probably have. He was defending the Tates, you know, kind of like meat riding for the Tates.
I didn't watch it, but I saw that they were doing it. I was just like, you could have picked a much better topic to talk about.
Yeah. I don't want to hear play court proceedings from Fresh, because it's going to be incredibly surface level, and we're probably going to be dumber after the explanation, you know? So it's like, I would much rather just hear it from somebody else. Let's keep going.
See Fresh as weak. But imagine you have a community of people who believe that being alpha is peak manhood. And they see that and they're thinking like, hey bro, are you peak male? Are you alpha? Nonetheless though, Camp Hustle, he ends up making a great argument once again. And Fresh, he ends up looking into his back pocket to see if he can find the most cliche talking point possible to rebuttal his point.
The important part is your contribution to the podcast.
You're trying to be funny, but you don't know what I do. And actually, I'm going to brag about it on the show.
Nobody knows what you do. That's the thing. You have a T-shirt that says "Nobody knows what I do."
Exactly, but
I think that's like the best meme in the world, because it's like you actually you get it.
Why do I have to explain what I do to you?
The thing is, what you do should be self-evident. What you produce should be self-evident. You shouldn't have to prove yourself to anybody.
Now, that is a good point, at least in terms of being a speaker. If you're going to go on a podcast and you're going to be a co-host and you're going to be giving people a prescription for a lifestyle, then I think it's important that you're able to provide your own philosophy and are able to articulate that in a very well constructed manner. But unfortunately for Fresh, he doesn't exactly ever, it seems like at least, he doesn't exactly ever think about these situations or issues. Instead, he just kind of just goes with the flow. Somebody who actually...
he'll just sit there and nod in agreement, you know? Or he'll just sit there and just wait to the end of the show. And I was getting tired of it. And that's, I mean, I kind of, I've already said this before, man. I think that we were in a better position when Fresh was quiet, because now that he's talking more, it's like, you can't shut him up now. And it's just, I feel like the quality of the show, it's gotten worse, because sometimes they'll do shows where he's running the whole thing and Myron is there and people are clicking on whatever because they want to hear what he has to say, and Myron is just kind of letting Fresh run the show. And I'm just like, why though? Why are you doing this? Like, I get it, you're not getting paid for it, so it doesn't matter. But don't like punish the people that are still listening to you, you know? I just don't understand why you would do that.
I mean, out of everything I've ever heard Fresh talk about, I've never been impressed, Camp. I mean, at least Myron can string basic logic together. But I've never seen him get past any sort of basic arithmetic.
Yeah. And, I think it's just the fact that his brain moves faster, or maybe faster relatively to himself, whatever, but like it moves faster than his mouth, or his mouth moves faster than his brain. It might be either one. And that's why he always ends up stuttering and stuff. But I just don't think that he has any original thought. He's a follower at the end of the day. He's a person he's just gonna be a yes man, which I don't think you need a yes man on that show. I think you need somebody that has like their own ideas, maybe even conflicting ideas that can challenge Myron and, get him to, think of other directions instead of just kind of just shouting into a mic, being like an echo chamber or whatever. There's no dynamic, at least. At least you have, you'll have, other people there like Chris, and you'll have like the girls and stuff there to like disagree just to disagree. But most of the time the girls are too dumb to form their arguments either. So it's like Myron's always going to win by default, unfortunately. It's like a losing battle. So
that's the problem. That's the other really big problem is that they bring on these women who really can't throw up a good argument. I mean, I made a video where who was it? The whatever podcast? Or no, it was Fresh and Fit. They brought on this woman who talked about how if a woman who had a college degree gets married, she's more than likely to stay together. And when I actually looked into that, a couple years, about 10 or so years ago, that was true. But if you actually look at the numbers nowadays, it's actually the opposite.
Well, I mean, with I guess the wealth dynamic and stuff, like, women, they don't want to be with a bum. They want to be with a guy that's, making more than them, working hard, working more than them and stuff. And they don't want to be in a position where they got to be the breadwinner, and I don't think that dynamic's going to change anytime soon, at least not in our lifetime.
Yeah.
That was a position that Sonic had. He's like, no, I think it's going to get to a point where these women that are, making these six-figure positions, they're just going to take the guy that's working at McDonald's. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? There's no way. There's no way that's ever going to happen,
Yeah.
That's like a guy just taking the first streetwalker that he sees, not even looking at her, just like, I'm just going to take the first woman that I see as a streetwalker, It's like, no, it's like guys have standards too, just like women have standards. I think it's completely understandable. And, the fact that there are some men out here that don't want to rise to the occasion, I'm not saying change your complete persona and your whole direction in life for a woman. I'm not saying that. I'm saying make yourself attractive in terms of like, your drive, your motivation, your income, your health. Do it for yourself first, and a woman will become attracted to you. You don't even necessarily have to be looking for it, but just do it for yourself first. Love yourself first before anybody else can even come into the picture.
Yeah. Well, the truth is that if you're a guy, you should always do it for yourself first, because when you put your best foot forward, that's the kind of magnetism that brings people in.
Yep.
And that's also what brings in the respect too.
Absolutely.
And if you don't do that, then people are just gonna be like, ugh, whatever.
Yeah.
For the women's side anyway. And then of course you're gonna get guys who are just gonna clown you.
And I think respect amongst men is a big factor in terms of, your status and stuff, like your usefulness. If you can create a product or a service or something that helps, the world and everything, and you garner respect off of, the quality of, what you do, and people can look to you for, any type of help and support and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, you're valuable, so work on that. Work on being valuable to other people, and women will see you as valuable. But this whole like trying to center women, like this, we had this whole conversation, me and AJ, about how the red pill is really not that different from just a bunch of incels, getting mad at women because they're not getting the results they want, and kind of centering their whole position on just sleeping with women, and where they're not realizing is that this is a distraction. You're taking to sleep with all these women, dude. You're gonna have to like dedicate a lot of time and resources to it, when it's like, wouldn't that time be better spent learning a skill, or improving your condition, improving your circumstance?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of actually a really big problem nowadays, is you've got men who get into the manosphere, and, they start listening to Fresh and Fit, the Tates, and it's just like, oh, let's do all this stuff. And then they start trying to do it. Then they realize, oh my God, this trying to be this is just too hard. I might as well do something else, or just quit, or give up, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they just sit back and say, well, my life's going nowhere. And what do they reach for?
Yeah.
They either reach for the joint, they reach for the booze, or whatever.
Right.
That fills the void. And it's just, well, I got nothing going for me anyway. And just,
yeah,
it's really, really sad. But also at the same time, it's pathetic, because you're just giving up when it's just, wait till you hit your stride.
Yeah. I think that's just kind of the problem with social media, is that, we're exposed to people that are already further along, more people are further along than others, and a lot of it's fake. That's another thing that people don't really take into account. And, they're stressed out because they see a guy that's like in their like mid mid 20s, whatever, just completely killing it, and they don't understand like why they're further along in life. They don't have the same thing. You know, it's like you got to get your mind off of that. You got to stop like trying to compare yourself to other people, you know, because you have no idea what type of advantage they had, you know?
Yeah, I mean, all those 20-year-olds you see killing it, you know, you don't know how many loans they took, or, you know, if they're really lucky. You know, you also don't know if they had some sort of trust fund that their grandfather, who got really successful, then sold off all his assets and said, basically, you know, you're my grandkid, but I spoiled my kids rotten. So you know what? They get nothing, but you have potential.
And what would you have to do? Take that trust that you get from the inheritance or whatever, liquidate it all in cash, put it all over your bed, and then say like, hey, I got a course. I can get you guys to have this much money in this amount of time, whatever. Buy this course, and then you're set. You know, because people just see the money and they're just like, okay, I'm willing to I'm willing to give it a shot. You know?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. People get hypnotized.
Yeah, that's how it's portrayed, but it's never accurate.
Right.
I mean, it's like
it's just another scam.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, we both know this, Camp. After my divorce, my ex left me high and dry, and you know, I've said this before. If she knew how much I had in my checking account, she'd flip out because she'd be like, "You did that in, you know, 3 years of our divorce. You know, how did you do that?" And it's like, come on, I was never bad with money.
Right.
I just need to build back up enough to where I have enough set aside in case anything major happens or I get hurt, and I have enough to survive off of, and then I'm going to start investing.
Yeah. Making that money work for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
He sits down and thinks about their own philosophy and are thinking about ways to properly articulate that, you could tell that that person has a lot of passion into what they do. For Fresh, it just kind of seems like that's not the case. Not only that though, whenever he's pressed about any issue, it's always just a one sentence response with absolutely no substance. Like for instance, Camp Hustle ended up pressing Fresh about a certain clip that was circulating at the time where he asked Myron, or I don't know who he asked, but he asked, how do you guys jerk off?
Common sense.
Yeah.
There you
Pamela
go.
Henderson.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that Sonic took the time to edit my video in with this, because it basically sheds light on it, and you know, people don't have to go, you know, looking for another video. That was the one thing that I was like, I had seen a lot of people reacting to this call, but Sonic was one of the first that took the time to like splice stuff together and, you know, just really, you know, make it make sense. And I told him that. I was like, that's great. You know, I'm glad he did that. So a lot of effort, man.
But nigga said jerkins. What the fuck?
Wait, how you want niggas jerk off?
Huh?
Pause.
Wait.
Fresh.
I'm just curious, bro. Like, is that what niggas do? I mean, I don't use it, but like, I heard niggas use jerkins.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is Camp Hustle lightly pressing Fresh about the issue.
I wanted to know, what did you mean by that when you asked that question? Like,
oh,
it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, I was trolling. I was trolling.
And this is Fresh's answer to everything. I don't know one situation where you'd ever ask another grown man, how does he jerk off? It's like, why would you genuinely ask that question? Yeah, I thought we were a men's like self-improvement podcast. Why are we trading masturbation tips, dude? Why are we having this conversation, dude? But
why does anybody ask that question, Camp? Let's be real here.
Because when it comes to like sex stuff, like Fresh is a sex addict. Okay, I can say that confidently. And when he's not having sex, he's a chronic masturbator. So yeah, like I can totally see him having this curiosity and then just blurting it out and then realizing that, oh shit, I should have just not said anything. You know?
Yeah.
I think he just didn't realize that it didn't sound stupid to him, you know, when it went through his little brain, little coconut brain. Shit.
And here's the thing. If Fresh would have just answered with conviction and would have told him something along the lines of, well, I was just curious, you know, I mean, I'm a man, I jack off. I'm pretty sure other people jerk off too.
No, I'm glad he didn't do that.
That would have been so nasty if Fresh had actually said that.
If he actually leaned into it, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
that would have.
Like, Sonic, you're actually wrong on this point here. Like, I gotta hard disagree with you, man. Like, I'm glad he just said he was trolling, because at least that's something I can believe, you know. But for him to like kind of lean into it and whatever, like, no, I'm glad he didn't do that, because that would have been super weird, and he would have had a lot more explaining to do.
I would like to know, like, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong. I ain't gay or whatever the case is. I think that if he would have spoke with conviction, I feel like probably they would respect him a lot more.
Gay men ask other gay men about that kind of schedule.
I couldn't even tell you, man. I couldn't tell you. But that's the thing. It's like, to even give Fresh the benefit of the doubt, like Sonic is doing here, it's a lot more than I would have do, you know. So it was fucking awkward. It was awkward as hell, and I just don't think he realized how stupid it was or how cringe it was to be asking that.
Because it's not just this issue, it's all sorts of issues. They also, Camp Hustle also pressed them about, you know, that one woman having dirt on Fresh, and Fresh said, oh yeah, it was just trolling once again.
Do you guys remember the black woman that had the pink hair, the green dress, and she had some dirt on you, Fresh? It was when DJ Academics was on the show.
I remember.
And she's like, oh, I got some
Sonic has, I'm not Sonic, Fresh has like an elephant memory when it comes to women. Like, he never forgets, you know? And I knew that if I was to bring up this woman or that situation and stuff, he would know who I was talking about, but then he would have to like play stupid once again so that he wouldn't like give away the reason. Because during this time that I was pressing him about this, he just said that she was just trolling, and that was it. That was the end of the whole thing. But then he ended up telling himself like a couple episodes later, and he said, you remember that girl, the black lady that had like the pink hair and the green dress and stuff, that was said that she had dirt and stuff, and she was basically like, she sidelined the whole podcast for like 45 minutes. And Myron was like, I don't know if I remember, whatever. And then Big Mo chimes in. He's like, oh yeah, I remember that. That happened like back in the old studio. Like, I remember that. And he's like, yeah, she basically, she smelled me because I had just finished having sex. And I just came straight to the podcast. I didn't, you know, shower or anything like that. And then Myron was like, oh. And I was like, it's like, Fresh, you can't call yourself Fresh, man, if that's the case, man. You just told on yourself, dude.
That's gross too. It's like, dude, take a damn shower.
It takes like 5 minutes, man, you know? And also, you know, you're dealing with the Miami Heat and stuff like that. That's fucking gross, dude. You know, just like be all butt stank and then throw on a hoodie and come straight to the podcast.
Yeah, that is pretty damn gross. I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah, he told on himself on that point, and I was like, dude, that's crazy.
I mean, it's better than being out in Okie or even in Missouri, because the humidity there would be closer to the same. Just ugh.
Yeah, but we're dealing with Miami, okay? We're dealing with it, and it's not good. And you know, I'm pretty sure that Fresh doesn't wear deodorant, you know, and it was it was just BO.
That's
probably
even worse in that kind of environment. I mean, I understand why some people don't wear it, because a lot of deodorants have aluminum. What is it? Aluminum zirconium oxide in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a couple countries have classified it as a class 3 carcinogen. I think.
Well, still, I mean, just handle it.
Yeah, but still, you could
do something.
You can go into the market and look for some natural deodorizers and use that stuff.
Yeah, like grab some mint leaves and rub it all over your something, dude. Do something. Don't just throw on the hoodie and come straight to the podcast, dude. Because that's disgusting.
You're not going to hear me disagreeing in the slightest. Yeah, that is straight up nasty.
And the girl wasn't sitting directly next to Fresh either. She was like 3 people over from Fresh on the podcast.
And she could smell him.
Yeah,
from there.
So it's, I mean, you know, some women have like, you know, heightened sense of smell and stuff like that. So, you know, it could have been that situation as well. But I'm just willing to think that, yeah, Fresh just reeked. And this isn't the first time we've heard this. You know, Adrian Broner recently told Fresh on stream that his breath stinks. You know, it's like, bro, you're all up in people's faces and talking and stuff. Your breath stinks, dude. And I don't think he was just doing that for the clip. Like, I honestly just think that Fresh has poor hygiene. You know, just the oxymoron of his actual like name and stuff, you know, like, no, I mean, it's true that he's weak, but it's false that he's fresh, you know, like he's anything but that.
This is where we need AJ just to go off on this guy. I swear.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, did you ever find out what that dirt was?
100%. It was trolling.
What was it?
It was
Can you
nothing.
tell us?
And trust me, he doesn't even get to the bottom of that question. So personally, to me, I think that Fresh, he kind of has, I believe, a personality problem, or perhaps a philosophical problem, because he doesn't know himself.
Mental problem.
At least based off of what I'm hearing, every single time he has to answer a question about himself, he just does not know how to articulate it properly. Or he probably has a perspective that probably guides him into thinking that, listen, if I speak up, perhaps I'll face major repercussions, like get into a physical conflict. Like, for instance, that one time...
Well, we know that's not going to happen. He ducks every fight that he's ever challenged, you know? So he challenged Alvin Priest to a fight. He ducked that twice, and then he challenged Sneeko to a fight twice and ducked that. So we know, and then even Myron said that he is not a fighter. So there's just like...
I mean, does he even get to the gym at all?
Well, he gets to the gym to take photographs and post it on his Instagram. He'll do like 3 reps or 3 pumps. That's it. And then the video clip will end. I think he literally does that because he'll bring the dog to the gym, you know, kind of like this whole performative, like, look, man, I'm working out and stuff, and just basically get enough to post it online. And then I think he gets out of there, you know. That's why he has the same 30 pounds that he's trying to lose. You know, he's still kind of in the same shape after like 5 years. You know?
Ugh.
Yeah.
You know, that's sad. I know guys who are bigger than Fresh and fat wise, but they can work harder at my job. And I already told you where I work. And they, you know, they're bigger, but, you know, they actually are probably stronger than he is. Holy cow. That is just sad.
I think it just comes down to motivation, you know, like I think he just doesn't have the drive to improve himself because, you know, he's getting this income from Castle Club and OSS and, you know, all these like F&F super chats and stuff like that. So like he doesn't have to, I mean, he thinks to himself, like, he doesn't have to improve himself because he's already getting money and he can just pay for box, you know? So he's like, I don't need to improve myself because women are going to sleep with me anyway. So I think that's the whole deal.
For DJ Academics, he just completely took over the panel, and you just see Fresh in the background trying his best to just cut off the show.
Oh, it's some real shit. What's going on right now? What is niggas doing right now?
Yeah.
What's the point of this shit?
Why is that LGBT community to cancel this nigga? Why the LGBT community to cancel him like
this? This shit is getting ridiculous.
What's up?
You saw how Fresh lost control of the entire panel, and DJ Academics just ended up taking it over. Fresh tried to end the stream, but he couldn't. He just couldn't stop the stream. He barely managed to stop it. But overall, he just lost control of the panel. That's what I'm talking about. He doesn't have the conviction to take control of the situation.
Yeah, his name is on the fucking podcast. He's the first name you see, and he's just like he's almost like a surrogate audience member. You know, like his voice doesn't have any bass in his voice or whatever, so nobody even hears him when he starts talking. You know, he just starts kind of mumbling a little bit. You know, people are always trying to figure out what he's saying. So
yeah, I mean, he's got a mic right there, and it's like, bro, lean in and enunciate.
You have the money to get a personal trainer, to get a speech therapist, you know. And I know he's had this before. He's had people train him. I believe Wes Watson was one of his trainers. We know where Wes Watson he is right now. I think he's locked up right now. And the speech therapist that he had her on stream, and they worked together for a little bit, but he stopped working with her too. You know, I think it's just like he only has the motivation for a short period of time, which is like, performative to show the audience like, hey, I'm trying. And then he just kind of tosses it away, because he can't keep it up with. He doesn't have the motivation or the drive to keep going or to improve, especially if you have a stutter. Like, that's something you got to keep at, you got to keep at it and, just keep training your brain to not go, just slow down, and think about what you're going to say. That way you don't have to worry about stumbling over your words. But yeah.
No, let me know what you guys think. Perhaps there's a moment where Fresh, maybe he did something where it had you scratching your head thinking like, is this alpha? You know, leave it in the comments.
I never had a question about that. I always thought that Fresh was just like this example to not be, you know, to basically steer clear of, like don't be this awkward around women. Don't just blurt out the first thing that enters your mind when you're around a girl that you like, dude, recently he's been talking to girls and asking them like what would they charge for sex and stuff. He's like, the chat wants to know. I'm like, no, you want to know, dude, come on, like stuff. we're not stupid, you know. The most recent one, I believe, the clip that I saw, the girl was like 18 or 19 or something, and they were talking about, you know, like how much would you charge or something for a night or something, and he's like, yeah, the chat wants to know. I'm like, motherfucker, you want to know, bro, come on, man, we're not dumb.
Jeez, does this guy not have any class?
No shame at all, dude. No shame in his game.
Almost every black man I have ever met, Camp, he has some bona fide soul and class.
Yeah, well,
this guy does not.
You got to remember, man, he's not an American black guy. You know, he's an islander, you know? He's a completely different, he doesn't identify with black people even. So, like, we can't even lump Fresh in with black people.
Which island did he come from?
Barbados.
Oh, he's like one of those, like, poor Barbados or rich Barbados?
I'm guessing, because I believe his father had some money. I don't know what he did, whatever, but he was able to give him like a good head start, at least when he came over here.
Oh, he's probably one of those rich Barbados punks that people just can't stand. I've heard more than one what was it? I think it was an FBI investigation out there into homicides that happened out there with American women.
I don't really know too much about that, man. I just know that Fresh picked a lot of coconuts in Barbados. He said he had a lot of sex with American women out in Barbados, and he said he racked up the majority of his bodies out in Barbados, and you know, he was sleeping with everything. Big girls, small girls, you know, ugly girls, you know, because he was just taking everything, you know. But so the next one I want to go to was me and Sonic meeting for the very first time. Him like you know, having me on his stream and stuff, because I think I had contacted him and messaged him about his video and stuff. I said that I saw it, I thought it was really cool, and I thought it'd be cool if I could. He actually invited me on his channel and stuff. I'm like, dude, I'll totally come on, you know. And I thought this would be an interesting thing to showcase, because I don't think any of you guys have seen this, but this is like one of the very first times that I speak with Sonic. We have a very cordial conversation, so I know that's kind of like very different from how things have been between us. And I think it'd just be cool to kind of see how we started, and kind of maybe might hint towards why we are where we are right now, maybe. So this is it right here. Let me get a little bit further on here. Background and graphic call, and I just kept getting sent all these videos of commentators talking about the call in that I did for Fresh and Fit. And some people, you know, had low effort videos where they were just kind of watching it and they're not really. What?
Your office background is definitely improved.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Really reacting. Yeah. And then there's people like you and Duke the Don. There's a few other people that, like, you know, they put some effort into it, and your video in particular, I will say, you know, I like the way you covered it, because, you know, not only did you know, cite some sources, you know, but you also you had some material of your own to add to the conversation, which was very interesting. Yeah. So I appreciated that.
No, dude, I appreciate that, because I try so hard to you know, to stand out and to just make it much more entertaining and impactful. So your video definitely helped, because it was definitely hilarious, man. Like, you got a knack for humor, for sure, and photoshopping too, because I noticed that you have that skill. So that was a pretty exceptional video, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I have a background in graphic design. I went to design school back in 2011, graduated and stuff. It was like a little two-year program, but I dealt mainly in Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, and I wanted to continue on and build websites and stuff like that. But I found that I really enjoyed the creating logos and just doing like print work for other people, and I found that that's. Oh, I also forgot to mention that this was the very first collaboration that Sonic has ever had on his channel. He told me that I was one of his first people to ever like join his channel and create content together and stuff. So I was one of his first. I told him, I was like, look, I'll be gentle, man.
Yeah, but once I get a big enough community, I'll probably make my own Discord and open things up too.
Yeah, collaborations are good, man. I definitely enjoy doing them, and I definitely don't mind going on other people's channels and having the conversation and stuff, and just getting to meet the other audience on the other side. Because dude, that's the thing about YouTube, man. It's just a big spider web of communities, man, and just there's people that just would never know who you were if you just never came across the person that they're watching. So it's pretty cool, man. Stuff to me is not like work, so whenever I'm doing something for myself, like doing a thumbnail or skip ahead of this doing packaging, the box type thinking, hold on, let me see, research it and then I'll execute it. 1 second. Got a permanent. I want to skip ahead of this because I want to get to this part where we're talking about the fresh and fit here, so hold on.
An alcoholic drink, like he made this like with thought,
the Blue Chew.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, I mean, I would think that this would just be a book that would be on the desk of Fresh, and it's just kind of a reminder to himself, like when he's out here, smashing 304s and
escorts.
People are escorts constantly questioning, why is he there? He can. I think that he can take solace in to know that there is a physical piece of literature that is doing its best job to plead their case for him and why he should be there. I mean, I think I need to go ahead and say this, that I don't hate Fresh and Fit.
Yeah.
I look at them purely as an entertainment aspect. It was never like I don't follow these guys for like any type of advice. I mean, I'm like those guys on Flagrant 2. Like they're like, dude, I'm like a 40-year-old married guy. Like why the hell would I watch their podcast? Like seriously. And it was never something that I watched seriously. It was something I just listened to in the background. And I like the whole I guess the traps that Myron will do when he talks to like these girls and stuff, and how they always come up with the same answers for things, like, oh, I want a guy that is, successful, but I don't know what he wants. I want a guy that makes like 6 figures. I want him to be like in shape, but I want him to only be, exclusive to me. And I mean, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Kevin Samuels and all of those calls. I mean, I used to listen to Kevin Samuels like at work all the time, and up until he passed and stuff. And then sometimes I still go back and I listen to his old
Kevin
podcast
Samuels
because
gave good advice.
Yeah, and there's people now that are clipping his old stuff and just kind of like putting it out there because there's no content claim whatever for his content, because I think the people that are running his channel, they're not really like watching it like that. So there are people, I think there might be people that are maybe whitelisted to repost his content, maybe, but I've seen at least a dozen channels that repost his content, and that's like all their channels are,
That's sad.
I mean, it's not bad in my opinion, because you're still getting the message out, So like, I don't see it as a bad thing, really. If someone were to like repost my content, I wouldn't be mad, especially if I'm not monetized, like it wouldn't matter to me at all, but at least in Kevin Samuels' case, some of that stuff is kind of like, it's still good to kind of go back to and listen to, and just, see what women want and what they don't consider. A lot of women, they don't consider what men want, or the men that they want what they want, So it's like they don't even know how to even put themselves in front of these men because they have no idea what it takes to make the certain amount of money that they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, most women don't even understand that if you approach a guy who's making 50,000 or more, you know, he's not really too interested in you trying to be a boss babe in front of him. You do that in front of most guys, you know, that's not even, you know, he's intimidated. It's just immediate turn off and get this thing away from me.
Yeah. But so I think there's a lot of women that think that like, oh, you know, like I need to like lead when I'm trying to like, you know, tell them about myself. I tell them that I have a PhD. I tell them that I have a dog. I tell them that I have a house. I have a car, and I've been to Dubai and all this. It's like, we don't want to hear any of that. It actually is a detriment that we hear any of this stuff, because now it's like you're just telling us all this stuff that, you know, like you would like if anything was to happen in terms of like a man and woman coming together and the woman has all these things, you know, like she has a house. It's like the man's not going to move into your house. You know, he's going to probably want to have his own house or his own place, whatever. And then if you guys do come together, you know, you guys will probably get your own place, but not like him moving to your house where you have the upper hand to kick him out anytime. You know, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think there are some guys that probably don't think about that, but I think there's a lot of guys that do, you know, and they're like, hell no, I will never put myself in that position.
Well, I mean, if a guy's never really been in a relationship, he doesn't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's my first thought there. But, you know, on the flip side of that, any guy who actually has a father in their lives who has any experience with that, because, you know, my father, when he was married to my mother, you know, what was one of the things he always told me was, my mother would go around the house that they were living in, and she'd point out the stuff that came from her parents, my grandparents' place, and say, that came from my parents, that came from my parents, that came from my parents, and he was supposed to know his place. And it's just like, that's not okay.
That's weird. Yeah. It's like, if it's in the house, I mean, I don't know. I mean, why would she tell him that? Like, not to move something, you know?
No, it was her way of asserting dominance.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I'm just like, that's just kind of strange to me why she would mention that. Maybe he like, hey, can we get rid of that? And she's like, no, this came from, you know, my parents or something like that or whatever. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
No, because the way he tells it, it's, you know, this is her way of saying, this came from my parents. We wouldn't have this if it didn't come from my parents. And you should be grateful that you married me, because you wouldn't have this if I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. I get you. Interesting.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, you're kidding me, right? I'm supposed to be grateful for a gift. I'm supposed to be grateful that somebody somebody in your family gave this to us when they were probably just going to throw it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know most men, like, when it comes to like gifts and stuff, they're always kind of awkward about getting gifts because they're used to giving gifts, you know. And you know, anything that's kind of like given to us, I don't even think that we truly care about something that we don't earn ourselves. You know, it's only until we actually have to earn it and we buy it ourselves that we actually take pride in it. But like anything else that's like kind of like a gift or whatever, it's like, you know, it's okay. I'm not losing any money if it breaks. You know? I don't know, but let's keep going.
Yeah.
Like him or not, you know, he had a lot of wisdom to drop on a lot of these women to keep them accountable, and really look at themselves in an objective way, and just kind of like step out of themselves, because I think that's kind of the issue with a lot of modern women, is that they're so I want you to kind of listen to how I'm speaking and how Sonic is not really contesting anything I'm saying, even though I think he probably, maybe even at this time, did disagree with some of it, you know, because I'm about to go in about like how, you know, modern women are and stuff, and I'm pretty sure that's not his experience. So he probably didn't want to say anything because he was just happy to have that, you know, we're doing this collaboration and stuff. But I do think that he probably should have said something, you know, right here, right now. I think that would have been fine, you know? And, you know, we could have at least had a difference of opinion. But I think at this time, it was still too early in us getting to, you know, meet each other and everything, that he didn't want to have a contentious conversation.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Self-centered.
Because I haven't changed how I think in terms of like from this conversation to right now. That's one thing that I can honestly say about myself is that I have remained consistent, at least from the first time that I met Sonic until now. Whereas, he's probably had some different experiences, maybe changed his mind on a couple things, or maybe finally found the confidence to say how he truly feels about certain things, But I just remember in the beginning, there was no contention whatsoever. It was just kind of like, oh, that's cool. It was very, very light, which it's kind of expected that it was going to be that way. On what they want to achieve, and it's just like, I'm a girl boss. I can do all this by myself, and I can I need to go out there, and I'm in survival mode basically. Yeah. Whereas like I don't need a man because I got this job, I got my degrees, I got this dog, I got my house, I got my car. It's like, and then what Kevin Samuels used to always say is that, okay, so what you have done is created a huge barrier of entry.
Yeah.
You've planted roots. No man of his worth is going to want to move into your house, into your frame. Yeah. It would be better if he met you under the condition that you were, possibly living with your parents still, or if you were like, maybe living in an apartment or something like that, but nothing like, where you're like, you got your own house, you got your own thing. Yeah, you're locked into like a 30-year mortgage. I think that would be a little bit more of an obstacle than just, you're living into like a month-to-month lease for an apartment, like I think that's a little bit more manageable. And
especially if you're planning for a future.
Right. And the most ideal thing, let's just go ahead and say it, the most ideal thing to meet a woman that's of age, and like within, a couple years of you and stuff like that, is she still living with her parents, like that's ideal. Because at least she's family oriented, like that. That's I think, in my opinion, that would be great if she was living with her parents, because then you can take her out of that situation, and at least that she's not going buck wild living with her parents, whatever. Of course, it's the dime is completely flipped for men. Like a woman doesn't want to see a man living with his parents. A man's got to kind of stand on his own two feet, of course. But for women, it's different.
Yeah.
So. And basically, it's like, you've already got roots planting, and that was one thing that he said. That he said like multiple times is that men want a woman that we can show the world to, but a woman that is already experienced, has already seen the world, has already done stuff. It's like it's almost like you can't. There's nothing new to show them. Yeah. And I was like. I was talking to my wife about this because my wife in a way is very inexperienced in terms of her life experience. She's from the Philippines, and I'm the first one to bring her to the United States, and everything that she's seen in the past 8 years and beyond is all been a first time thing with me. And it's like, it's a privilege, in my opinion, to be in that position, because it's not a position that a lot of men get, to be the first for everything. Especially women out here in the United States that are getting flown out, that are getting, that have like this online profile where millions of people can subscribe to them, and, they turn to OF, and, they make their money that way, It's like, it's... I feel very privileged that I didn't have to deal with any of that, but now Sonic has a completely different position, and I don't want to speak for him unless he wants to chime in himself. Sonic, I hope you're listening. That your view of like my advice and stuff, the stuff that I say, like in terms of what men need to do, is outdated, and it's kind of like, I shouldn't be giving advice because I'm out of this dating market and I've been married for so long and stuff like that. But it's like, I think you kind of have to look at it that I'm not trying to sabotage anybody, maybe I might not know, the ins and outs of like a dating app. Yeah. But I do think you probably need to work on your communication, work on your tonation, work on your look and stuff, and work on your value, and don't really center women, like just kind of focus on yourself, man. It's as simple as that.
Well, communication's always going to be necessary. Do
Yeah.
you? I mean, if you're walking into a pitch meeting, do you want to walk in there and just kind of just be like, "Oh, yes," or do you want to walk in and just like, "Here, sir, here's the figures. Do you have any questions?"
Yeah.
You know,
Command
there's
the
a
room,
difference
basically.
here.
Yeah. No, I got you. I mean, it's like a man that has control of his life, you know, in all aspects, is attractive. It's as simple as that. And a man that has no direction, that is kind of like just kind of flying aimlessly, you know, they don't really have any drive and stuff. It's like that's, I mean, it's not really, it's kind of something that's kind of uncertain for a woman to want to kind of take the chance on, you know? And I think that was, you know, kind of the crux of our argument, how, you know, when he said that looks don't really matter, you know, or no, what he said, you know, actually, I'm sorry, he said the opposite. He said looks do matter, but he says money doesn't matter. And I was like, no, that's wrong. That's very wrong, dude. Because the more money you have, the less your looks matter. We've seen this before, you know, and yes, I mean, would it be ideal that you have both, that you have money and good looks, whatever? Sure. But, you know, we're not all perfect. And, you know, that most people's money isn't, you know, where it needs to be and stuff. It all depends on, you know, whatever you're focusing on. But when it comes to, I guess, trying to, I don't know, be dateable, I think you kind of need to have, you know, your career on point, you got your fitness on point, you know, and all that, and your money on point. And
well, you definitely need to have money. Well, I mean, it kind of depends on what you're going for. If you're definitely looking for marriage, you need to have your money definitely on point.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking to date, casually goof around, then yeah, you definitely need to be physically, you need to definitely not be looking like the Michelin man.
Right.
But, you know, beyond that, and you better be able to hold a conversation, and you better be able to crack a damn joke.
Well, do you think that, okay, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think Sonic believes that you could marry for love and not for duty? And it'd be successful? Like, if you marry just for love and not for duty, do you think that would be successful? I mean, I think we already know the answer, but do you think Sonic thinks that? Do you think it would be successful if he married for love?
I mean, if getting into Sonic's mindset from everything that I've seen of him, he'd probably say that yes, you can marry for love and it would work out.
Yeah, he'd probably be like, probably, you know? He'd probably give that kind of like neutral stance, like, I don't know, maybe, you know? And then we'd have to tell him, no, because love fades, you know, and then it all comes back to duty and responsibility and, you know, a goal that's bigger than yourself, whether it's, you know, raising a family and, you know, running a business and stuff like that. And it's like, like, yes, everything's hot and heavy in the beginning, but then after a couple years, you know, it becomes an obligation. It becomes you know, but something that you want to do, you know, like you truly want to work at it every day because you understand the value of it, and you know that you're better together than being apart, you know? Hank Russell, holy shit, dude. This is a blast from the past. Good to see you, man. How you been, sir? Hank Russell is in the chat. He says, that's a very successful if you marry and wait, hold on. Very successful if you marry and there's love, but it takes work and duty. Absolutely.
He's 100% correct.
You can't have it without.
Can't have it from both parties. That's something my ex will never understand.
Yeah, can't be one-sided, man. I mean, both people have to have the same amount of effort, you know, working towards each other, and also just be on the same page, man. I think, you know, you got to have that conversation. And it can't just be for love. And I think that's kind of where a lot of these modern women get tripped up. they'll say that, hey, I got to be in love in order to get married. It's like, well, there's got to be more to it than that, and it usually is more to it than that. But to me, I think that he's just, I don't know. I think he's speaking from inexperience. Sonic is. Hank Russell came back. He says, keep sending me invites. I'll pop in when I have a sec one day. I miss you guys. Dude, we miss you too, man. It's been a while since we've been on, man. Hank, I don't think you've met Tea and Toast with Ghost, but Hank Russell, we've had discussions, me, him, and Sonic, when we were talking about our first stream. When we were talking about our first appreciation stream with VillaTube. Hank Russell was all part of that. And now here we are doing a appreciation stream for Sonic, because now Sonic has taken a full month hiatus. And we're just wondering where he's at, man. And I'm hoping that he can at least grace us with his presence, at least let us know that he's okay. He doesn't necessarily have to come into the stream, but he can at least type and say, I'm still alive. That would be great, because, I want him to be all right, even though we don't agree on everything. And, we have a lot of great arguments and debates and stuff. I think it would be good to at least know that he's still doing all right,
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I don't hate the guy, Yeah,
I would actually like to bring him onto my stream once I get a little bigger and actually really pick his brain about a multitude of different subjects.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, man. Just, keep reaching out. Coke Penny says, "Oh shit, what's up, Hank? I know, dude. This is like a blast from the past, man. I haven't heard from Hank in so long, dude. It's good to see him. Yeah, Hank, you definitely gotta jump back on stream someday, man. And we gotta catch up, dude. I gotta see how you're doing. But let's keep going, man. This is still our conversation with Sonic. This is one of the very first conversations, and you guys are kind of getting a little insight that a lot has changed since we first met each other, and this is all of it on display right now. Let's keep going, and let's a little bit.
So I do definitely agree. But I think that one of the biggest problems is just I guess an understanding of the other side, because I feel like oftentimes even though women come with like all of these standards, I think that they don't really see what it really means to communicate with another person, because I feel like they think that like the guy's already on their level, and so they don't really like try to empathize with that. Instead they try to immediately just like, as soon as they meet, boom, you gotta already be here, you gotta have your money, you gotta have all of this, but it doesn't work like that, and then in the end they end up disappointed, which is one of the biggest reasons why marriage actually fails, at least from what I remember, that it's not what they thought it was, and it's because they go into it with a certain expectation that this is what it's going to be like, when the reality is like you kind of have to just don't build that fantasy yet, just go in there, test the waters, understand the person, and try to flow with it, but yeah, I think
the Disney fairy tale of marrying for love is definitely something that has been overshadowed and sold to the youth, and it has created a false sense for people to believe in, when really marriage is not about love, it's about duty. The thick and the thin, sickness and health, and when you become old and gray, and when you become injured, and you can't get up anymore, so your significant other has to give you sponge baths and stuff like that, and a person has to be there to remind you to take your medication and stuff like that.
So I do remember we experienced a little bit of delay in the stream, but it's like, even in these points, like I still believe this stuff. None of this stuff has changed, and it's just kind of cool to hear myself say this stuff, and then hear Sonic and his perspective on marriage, because still at this time I didn't know like what he thought about women and stuff, because he just kind of was just listening to what I was saying, and I mean he gave a little bit of insight, saying that women will basically they'll have kind of this weird preconceived notion about marriage, how it's supposed to be for love and stuff, and then they realize somewhere down the line that it doesn't work out, or it doesn't fulfill them in a specific way, so that's why it doesn't work out. But there's a lot of lot of reasons why marriages fall apart, and now it doesn't even have to be your fault. You know, it can be just she was bored, and that's good enough to get rid of. You know, to throw it all away.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's how they treat it, but that's never a really good enough reason to throw anything away. I mean,
No,
that's
I
kind of
agree.
like,
I agree.
I mean, that's like a rich person. What's like the best analogy here that I can think of? It's like a rich person buying a Lamborghini or a Bugatti, driving it around a test track 3 times, then they're bored with it, and then they just leave it in a garage and they just don't touch it. And then like 150 years later, their great grandchild pulls off a tarp, and it's like, oh my god, there's this Ferrari that hasn't been seen in over 100 years. This thing's worth over, $10 million.
That's the thing, man. It's like all these things that we acquire in life and stuff. It's like they have value to us, during the time, but over time, it's just like, nothing gold ever stays, like that. It never holds value to us over time, because we start, once we have something, it's like the sparkle is gone. It's almost like the journey of earning towards something, and then that's the fun part, and when you finally obtain it, it's just like it's over, and then you are on to the next thing. It just seems like, at least that's how I've encountered things in my life, things that I've strived for, and things that I like, oh, I really want that, and once I get it, it's just like, I understand why. I think it was the fact that I didn't have it was why I wanted it so much, but now that I have it, it's not a big deal, That's just with everything. Let's keep going. I want to go a little bit further.
Terms and definitions of these words, which is why I think that, when it comes to communication, I think it's important to understand that, and when it comes to willpower and
I need to go back a little bit. So we were talking about willpower here. This is probably one of the first conversations we had talking about definitions of words, because Sonic has always been a stickler about words, and he would like me to kind of define my terms when I'm saying certain things, or he'll correct me and say that, hey, I'm not on topic, or that this doesn't mean this, or you can't exchange this word for this. So this is one of the very first things I'm talking about willpower. Let me go back a little bit. I'm not compatible with you because I don't like hold on, I think it's right. He's like, you go out with a woman today, and you go out with her because she's some knowledge of things that are, you find interesting, but then when it comes down to it, it's the delicate dance of, I have resources and she has beauty and fertility. She could possibly give me a family. Men that are looking for families and stuff, you have women out here that aren't necessarily looking for families. They're looking for just providers. They want to be, just a man and a woman, not necessarily have kids, but they want to just kind of live their life and travel the world and be jet setting and stuff like that. And I think there's a lot of incompatibility there, and I mean, it all comes with communication. I think that's another thing. I think that's social media has kind of messed up a lot of people. I think the whole social aspect, even though it's called social media, people aren't social anymore, man. It's all about swiping right and, looking up your old rap sheet and stuff. And basically looking through your 10-point station check of who you are and what you do. And I'm not compatible with you because I don't like what you do. I don't like who you are, and I don't like your history and stuff. Whereas you're not even having a conversation with a person, because what something says for a person on paper can be completely different, because you change from year to year, months to months sometimes, depending on where your life is, where you are.
Some women are hour to hour.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. It's like the internet is forever, so even if you have changed and you've settled down, those pictures are still being hosted on that site forever. Okay. Yeah. Even if you pay good money to get it scrubbed off of that website, there's still going to be another website that's going to be hosting those photos, and you're going to have no control over it. So that's why you're going to if these women are going to sell their bodies online, just understand that, yes, you're going to have quick money, short-term money, but you're going to have long-term problems, you know?
It's not even short-term money, Camp, because most of them don't even clear $50 a month.
Oh, yeah.
There's been many YouTubers who have broken it down. The thing that's actually sad is that the way that I've seen this work is that they have to start out as free, and then once they have a big enough following that's willing, then they have to monetize it.
Yeah.
And that's when they can start actually charging for stuff. But from what I understand, a lot of them don't do that. They're just like, hey, if you want to get here, you have to pay, $2.99 for a subscription. And most guys are like, nah.
Right. I'm gonna go where it's
go
free.
to this. I can go here where it's free, or I can just wait for some dude who will buy the subscription, take all your pictures, and then just
leak
throw
it
out all the and
Yeah.
just leak all of it.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's the thing, man. It's like it's just time. It's just a waiting game, And it's crazy how there's women that get out of the adult content, and they like have all these regrets. They're just trying to have a family now. They're trying to like get a husband and stuff, and it's just like you gotta understand, it's gonna take a really special type of man to just look the other way on that kind of thing. Like he has to be either ignorant of it, or just not know anything about it, or just be okay with it, which I don't know. I don't know how people are going to be okay with it and still kind of, live their lives. I don't know.
Yeah,
a very weird type of breed of man to put up with a former adult film star, for a relationship. In that moment, and I can honestly say that, my mindset in terms of making money, supporting my family, just being a solid guy, and just keeping myself level-headed, don't give in to any vices, don't give in to temptation, stuff like that. It's like that's all willpower at the end, Yeah. And to have a strong willpower is something that I think is kind of taken for granted these days. People are just like, look, man, if you're bored and you have the opportunity, you need to take it. It's like, no, not necessarily, man. It's like, if you value what you have, you cherish it, you take care of it, But I think that's kind of lost now. I don't think people are trying to look in terms of the long term anymore. They're just like, look, man, I'm just trying to get what I can get and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, no, I think that, recognizing that, because I think that like understanding, especially terminology, I think it's important to understand terminology, because like you just mentioned right now, not prevention, wait, was it prevention? No, willpower, manpower, or no, willpower, yeah. So like
willpower.
Yeah, so like
willpower.
So like I kind of like to distinguish words, because I'm very, very picky with like the terms and definitions of these words, which is why I think that like when it comes to communication, I think it's important to understand that, and when it comes to willpower and prevention, I think that it's important to distinguish both of them. Like, for instance, I don't really rely a lot on willpower to be disciplined. What I attempt to do is to use prevention. So understanding that, like a drug,
that's kind of insightful now that you think about it, because when we were talking about I guess when it comes to like being attracted to women and stuff, Sonic says that he doesn't go for looks. He says that over any really a period of time, he could be attracted to any woman. And I told him, I was like, well, that's all fine and dandy, but it doesn't mean the woman's going to be attracted to you for any amount of time. Because a woman can kind of make her mind up that you're in the friend zone, and you're going to stay in that no matter how you feel about her.
Yeah, there are so many different guys who sit there and say she knows within like the first 30 seconds, the first 5 minutes.
Yes, I believe that.
And from my perspective, it's just, I don't care.
Yeah. No, I think I think it's something that, like, you should at least keep that in your mind, that you, if a girl is not into you, I would say there's very little you can do to change her mind if she's not like open to that, because I think a woman will convey interest in, the subtle ways that women do. And, whether you are at the time in the time or the space of your life, whatever, that you are ready to pursue a relationship or if you're not, I think, you should, take it into consideration whether, you want to do it or not. You have to have that agency in yourself, whether you want to do it or not, but for Sonic, because I remember this was on our most recent conversation, which was a month ago. He's just like, over amount of time, like I'll develop feelings for any girl. And I was like, well, that's not good. I was like, I think you should have a standard,
Yeah, if you don't have a standard, that's a lot of trouble. Because that means the first girl who smiles at you nice enough, maybe she lets you hit it just enough.
Or maybe not even that. Maybe she just laughs at your jokes and you're just like, oh shit, like I found the one.
Yeah.
It's like, she just thinks you're funny. That's it.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, this was something that I didn't realize until like recently. I was like, oh shit, like that's kind of like an insight until like he's basically saying like he doesn't think about it in terms of willpower. He thinks it in terms of prevention. And but I was like, no, you should have willpower, especially if you're in a committed relationship, to to have a strong willpower to not act on any urges that you have, But I think it's okay to have thoughts, but it's not okay to do actions, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
yeah, obviously let's talk about women, since we're talking about women. If you love women, obviously, like, I think that the best way to prevent yourself from like chasing women and being distracted from women, I think it's best to have preventative measures, because willpower alone, I feel, when you're trying to go at it head to head, I feel like oftentimes people lose because
okay, so what would preventative measures be? Would that be staying in your house and just not being around women? Exo Charles, welcome to the stream. Yo, Camp and Hustlers, good to see you, man. Yeah, this is a stream appreciation stream for Sonic Mindscape. He's been AWOL for a month, and we haven't spoken since our last debate, and I want to make sure he's okay. So I wanted to go ahead and throw this stream up, hopefully get his attention, and maybe he can I don't know, grace us with his presence. But no, I wanted to kind of give a little origin to this whole collaboration effort that we had, maybe friendship, you want to call it, and just how things have kind of veered off a little bit. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's that way, but yeah, good to have you on stream, man.
Isn't always like, it is there, but it's a constant battle. With prevention, you don't really have to go head to head with it. You can kind of just you took preventative measures, so you don't have to put as much energy into trying to discipline yourself to not act on those behaviors.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm hearing is by prevention, do not go outside, do not be around women. That way you don't have to worry about anything happening. But I'm like, you can be around women and have willpower and be fine. So do you see how like my way of thinking is a little bit more evolved than his? Like his is completely like, no, cold turkey, no women, like if that way, if you don't want to be distracted. But I'm like, no, dude, you can totally like be around women. You just got to have strong willpower. That's it.
I mean, the way he talks, my drill instructors would have chewed him up and spit him out. It would have been like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons where they get hit by the anvil and their leg just sits there twitching, and it's just like, poor fellow.
Yeah. I mean, this is his perspective that I guess I was also being cordial too, but I kind of remember I don't really remember what I said to this.
Because having to chase women and not being able to control that, it must be difficult. Because I have a couple of friends who love chasing women, get distracted by women, and they can't stop, and to me, I'm thinking like, you know, if that was me, I would probably not put myself in a situation where, you know, there's a woman there, you know, or where beautiful women are, you know. So yeah, that's kind of them, you know. Yeah, so that's kind of
prevention.
Yeah,
prevention would be not going out, not putting yourself in that situation.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
you know, like focusing on yourself, going to work, getting 8 hours of sleep, getting some time to exercise, you know, eating right and stuff like that. You know, just building yourself up to be, to make it, I guess, to put yourself in a frame where people find you attractive and you don't have to, you're not going out looking for it. I think the best way to find a relationship is when you're not looking for it. When you look for it, for some reason, it just repels, man.
Yeah,
I still believe that. I still believe like like a woman can like sense when you're like, when it's been a while, when you've had like a long drive spell. It's like for some reason women can smell like other women on you, and that like attracts them. But like when you don't have the scent of another woman on you, it's like women, they know it. You know, they know that you've been alone for a while, and they're just like, they kind of like, they move away from you. They're repelled by you. You know.
Yeah.
So
they can tell who's just thirsty.
Right. I mean, they can look at a guy and be like, "Oh yeah, he fucks." Just
yeah, they can tell this guy's just here looking to screw, and
yeah, can smell the desperation on you, and they can see like the thirstiness on you, whatever. Right. Whereas like if you just go in there and you're like, "Look, man, I'm just trying to, you know, just trying to get a cup of coffee, and I'm just trying to go about my day. I got to go to work, you know, and I'm just gonna stay, you know, focused, whatever." You know, women would be like, "Okay, you know, this guy's got a head on his shoulders, man. He's like, he's not looking me up and down. He's not trying to see what I'm doing. Yeah. He's actually got a lot going for himself where he's not like, that's not his 100% focus, you know?" And I think where these red pill guys kind of tell on themselves is like, "Oh, you know, I had this new girl last night, da 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 da," and it's just like, it's almost it's bragging, you know, for bragging's sake, you know, to kind of like reinforce that, yeah, I get chicks, so you should definitely follow me if you don't get chicks, and I can kind of like show you the way and stuff, you know. It all feeds into the podcast, at least, or I guess trying to sell courses, you know.
Yeah.
So trying to just, I guess, what's it called? Kind of gives them a little bit of credibility and stuff. You know, people that, you know, are young and don't know any better, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna follow Fresh, man. Fresh has a new girl every time he's out." And so I'm like, well, you know, you don't realize what he had to pay to get that woman. You know, she's getting paid. It's like it's almost like a coping mechanism.
Just like the porn star.
Oh yes. How can we forget? Cannot be alone. Yeah. If I do, I feel like I'm losing at life.
Yeah.
When it's just like, that's not the case. That shouldn't be the case. You should be happy to be by yourself. You should be happy to be able to enjoy some alone time.
Yeah.
By yourself. I think that's kind of another thing. Is like people, they can't just be alone. They can't just sit and just sit in their thoughts. That's not even a thing anymore, man. You got to have your phone with you when you use the bathroom. Yeah. I mean, you can't just sit on the subway and just, you know, look out the window anymore. That's not like a thing anymore, man. People's minds, the way that social media has reprogrammed people is that they have to always be thinking and always be doing something. Whereas, like, man, I remember when just reading a book, man, was just something that you could just escape the entire. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of sputtering on this stream. I forgot about this one. This was on Sonic's end. I remember this. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Mention, you know, like that you're gonna find love on your own. You know, it's gonna come to you. I think it's also important to recognize that you know, you have to put yourself in that position as well. You know, you have to put yourself in a position where women are around you. You know, and not trying to chase them all the time, but just putting yourself around them. Because that's one of the things that I've noticed about myself. And give me 1 second, because let me see. You're not received. It's because I have a poor quality. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's not. It's still going, but all right, for sure, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So going back to that, yeah, I think that like a lot. I hear a lot of people say, you know, the love is gonna come to you, and I know that a lot of women, women and both men, they complain about that. They're like, I hate when you say that, you know. But I think that the whole context isn't given, you know.
Well, the thing that a lot of people tend to miss there is that, yeah, you do need to wait, but while you're waiting, you know, do the things that would attract the opposite. You know, don't just sit on your butt there and just, okay, I'm waiting. When is it gonna happen?
Yeah, this whole like manifest your destiny and stuff, like that's, in my opinion, I think men need to take action. You know, you don't need to wait for the woman to come along. You know, like if you're out there living your life and stuff, you know, working hard, just, you know, taking care of your business and stuff, you'll come across her, you know, at some point. But don't put everything on hold, you know, if it doesn't, and then that becomes your sole focus. You know, it's like, just, it will come when it comes, you know. I think that, you know, especially guys that are young, they don't want to be like the only guy in their friend group that doesn't have a girlfriend, you know. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I think nowadays, maybe these young guys now are probably just like, no, I want to forgo all of this because, you know, I can't measure up anyway. The girls that I'm trying to like look at and stuff like that, they want older guys that are a little bit more established, and, you know, I'm only like 18 or 19 and stuff like that. So younger guys are getting that rude awakening that they have to, you know, be a couple more years into their, you know, career to start hitting their stride and stuff, and they just haven't made it yet.
Yeah, well, we also have to remember, Camp, you know, I was a teenager in the 2000s, even before 2010, and you were a teenager in the 90s, correct? Yeah, we were in a nearly identical era of how dating worked. And it is so different nowadays. And you know, I'm not really looking, I'm just getting my stuff back in order right now, and I'm not even looking. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I just think that you can still, even if you're not like looking in like how everybody else is looking, you know, like basically scraping the bottom of the barrel with these dating apps and stuff, I still think that you can put yourself in like a position where, you know, if you do see a girl that, you know, you're interested, or maybe that you're attracted to and stuff, that you wouldn't even have to like have that like expectation that, oh, I gotta like try to pick her up, get her to notice me and stuff like that. It's like, you don't have to, you know. It's like you could literally, I mean, I don't even know what the setting, like, if we were just to name a scenario, let's just say maybe she's like sitting at a coffee shop or something like that, and I don't know, maybe you ask her something as simple as, you know, like, hey, did you I don't know, like, I don't know what you would say. Like, you maybe say like, hey, do you happen to have the time, or do you happen to know like what time it is and stuff? I don't know, something like that, you know. Or maybe be like, hey, was there like something going on in the city today, like something like that? I don't know what you would say. You know, I mean, you would have to be contextual, of course, you know, but I would try to keep it contextual to like whatever is going on in the day and stuff, you know, and just kind of keep it light. Don't keep it too heavy, you know. Definitely don't come in strong with like a compliment or something like that, you know. Just kind of be normal, you know, because I think the most like unassuming approach, where you're not really having all this expectation and stuff, I think it's kind of like refreshing, you know, to kind of like approach it that way, than having to come on strong with like an opener, a closer, and all that stuff, and you know, a call to action to basically like get her phone number and stuff like that, so that you guys can set a date and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. I think people would see you coming if you did that.
Yeah, that's the real wrong. I mean, if you're being that forward, you better know she's into you.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
If you can't discern that she's into you, you're wasting your time, and eventually it's going to backfire on you.
Absolutely. I agree.
So it's just, you gotta know she's into you. If she's not, It's just not gonna happen. And the guys who think, oh, that's eventually gonna happen, I got news for you, buddy. It ain't gonna happen. In fact, the more you get on your knees and pray that something like that is gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
It just ain't.
I think I think men just need to just focus on their goals, things that will improve their life, and and focus on yourself, and everything else will fall into place, So just have something going for yourself. Otherwise, it's like, this whole like pressure to get a girlfriend and stuff like that. It's like there shouldn't be that for us, Like there is that pressure for women because women have, a limited time, honestly, with their beauty and fertility and stuff,
Yeah.
So they got to get their ducks in a row a little bit sooner than us, but
yeah, most women seem to think that they just put on a cute little smile, maybe they shake their butt, their boobs, whatever, and it's gonna make a guy get on their knees. Yes, queen, I will worship the ground you walk on. And it's getting more and more to the point where it's just like, you're royalty, you can't even walk a straight line, and your posture sucks.
Yeah.
And your etiquette is terrible. Go get some manners and then come back.
Oh my God, dude. If we had charm school, like where like girls got to like learn etiquette and how to be a lady, dude, like an old fashioned lady. Oh my God, dude. That would be incredible.
Lord.
Dude, that would be incredible. Like, think about today's time, like having just a chain of like charm schools opening up from like all over the country. And it's basically just to teach women how to be, proper ladies, and, just whip out all of that, independent, like, I don't need no man type feminism and stuff. Like, just beat that out of them and just bring back proper women, man. Hardworking, proper women that are just ready to be soft and feminine and, ready to get on a man's program, be his helpmate.
I know. That would actually be nice, but...
Oh my God, dude. Charm schools across the country, dude. That would be, a pipe dream, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Although my father would make jokes about that, and he'd call it obedience school.
Yeah, that's true. We have to make sure that we name it properly.
For love to come to you, you have to put yourself in a position where men and women are around you. Because when you surround yourself with around these
so he's saying this in reference to having male and female friends, like having women around you in that sense, and that will lead to a relationship, which most of the time it doesn't. It just leads to just more friends.
So people, you start to...
Well, I mean, if the goal is just to have more friends, then you're fine. But if the goal is something more intimate, then it's not going to work out.
Yes.
For you, and they're going to try to talk to you and get to know you, And I've noticed this because I kind of have a big group of friends, like a huge group of friends, and women and men both show up, and you have no idea just how often women just like end up liking somebody in the group, and it's such a constant thing. And I'm like, damn, like this really opens up a new perspective, because we've always been told that like, love will come to you, but they don't really tell them the other part, which is, it'll come to you, but you have to be within a group that has both males and females, So, I think that's like one of the biggest. So I do definitely agree with you when it comes to that, because when like these red pill guys talk about like, I just got another woman, it sounds like these guys are like, competing, and not only competing, but like it's kind of like they're chasing after these women to remind people like, no, I can get girls, when the reality is you don't even have to do that. All you have to do is just build a good group of friends, and these women will just naturally come to you, because women, they have some women friends, so those women friends are gonna be curious to see what that group is about, so
I mean, I think perceived status is definitely a thing. You go into a place and you're dressed nice, you got a suit and tie, you got your hair cut nice, whatever, you got nice teeth, nice smile, you go in, you got nice posture, and you got a nice tenor in your voice when you speak. You project it, and you just interject with a little bit of authority. I think it's just, these are all tenets of masculinity that are almost kind of like looked at as, oh, he's trying to be that way. When it's natural, it's like you're not trying. When you're not trying to be like the most masculine man in the world, or in the room at least, because it makes you appear weak when you do that. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at Myra and be like, you shouldn't have said it like that, man, because now you look fucking weak as hell, and it's countless times I can tell you how Myron has, been emotional and tried to come off as like this alpha type that is in control, but he doesn't realize that when he loses control and he loses his temper and stuff, it makes him look so weak,
Yeah. And, I've walked into rooms where you've got guys just lifting heavy, or they're just kind of trying to be the loudest in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just sit there and lean back in the room, you just watch as most of the guys in the room just kind of just every once in a while just start shooting glances at him. And it's, it's not even the glances of, oh, he's strong. It's, dude, shut up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man. And, even speaking to that, men that, go to the gym and stuff, it's like I think we all know as men, like when we go to the gym, it's like, yeah, hopefully we're doing it for ourselves, not for the female gaze, because we're going to get a rude awakening that we're going to get a lot more compliments from men than from women in terms of like our body types and stuff and how, we're improving ourselves, So I think that's another misconception I think some men get. They're like, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to get jacked, and then I'll get the chicks. It's like most girls, man, they like, the guy that's like muscular, but not like too muscular, that's kind of still slender a little bit, but still toned,
Yeah.
And maybe not even like, bulking up and stuff and veins popping out and stuff like that. That's for the male gaze, I think, and just like in the inverse, where a woman has, the caterpillar eyelashes and the raptor claws and stuff. That's not for us. That's for other women. That would be like the extreme opposite,
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the ancient China courts where they would buy those like finger guard things, and they'd have like those like long gold or silver nails, and it'd just be like, I don't have to do work, so I don't have to take these off.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just I think definitely work out, be healthy and stuff, but everything in moderation, man. Don't go overboard.
Oh yeah.
Crazy when he tells me, when he says, well, how he is now, it's almost kind of like he's losing his edge a little bit. He's kind of shifting into like almost like a softer guy era now, because now he's got a dog. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah,
he's got a dog now, and he's like, and man, this guy, it's funny because I look at him and I'm like, okay, so he used to hate dogs,
Yeah.
and I think he said that a dog at one point was a coping mechanism. He did say that. He said that if you need something that needs you to, like, that depends on your care or whatever, then that you're a weak person. He was mainly talking about like pets and stuff like that. If you need to have like a support animal and stuff, that makes you a weak man. And it's like a coping mechanism, basically. I remember he said that on one of his older streams and stuff, and I never forgot that. I was just like, that's so strange that you say that, and now you have a dog. So it was just a little hypocritical,
Yeah, it's also a pretty jacked up thing to think too.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because most pets aren't a coping mechanism. They're just a companion, or companion, or they're also something, or they're also what's the term I want to say here? Kind of that new family member.
Sure. I mean, we know single women will get dogs to kind of take the place of a man,
Well, it's not they won't just get the dog to take the place of the man. They'll also get a dog to replace the whole kids thing, and they'll this is where the whole term fur baby comes from.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they kind of think to themselves as parents, and it's a little weird, man. It's a little strange.
Yeah, and it's just women replacing children with animals.
Yeah. So because it's like you shouldn't need to have something there that depends on you, whatever, to make you feel whole, whatever. You should have that without that and stuff. And he's like, yeah, women have dogs, whatever, because they need something to fill that void in their life. And he's like, if a man needs that just makes him a weak male. I think I'm paraphrasing, but that's like, the gist of what he was saying. But now it's like he's kind of gone back on that. Now he's got a dog, and I want to say that's Angie, man. Angie's fucking softening him up, and I don't have an issue with that. As a married man, a happily married man of like, it's gonna be 8 years in November. I'm fine, man, with him like letting it all go and stuff, and. But I still think that Myron, he's obviously in the closet and stuff like that. Now that he's not together with Angie and stuff, that whole shield from the not gays and stuff is still it's like it's not there anymore. So the allegations are alive. But I think that if anything, I think Myron is gonna definitely lose his edge as he gets older. Like whatever he's passionate about now in terms of like. How he feels about women and stuff. I think it's either going to progressively get worse, or he's going to finally bite the bullet and just kind of like settle down and not be as extreme,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, he could also be working his way out of the closet. So.
Yeah. That would be. Who knows if we'll ever see that day? I know that the incels are not happy. Okay. This guy right is losing his edge.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. Because man, like it's because Myron, he kind of puts himself in this position. See, this is what happens when like you say absolute statements, and he has that tendency of just saying absolute statements. So like whenever like something new occurs or whenever he evolves as a person, like what he said in the past comes to haunt him, and that's kind of like he loves to constantly say, like, oh, shaming is a great tactic, but then like when these redditors or like these people come and they talk about Fresh about how he's useless and stuff like that, I mean, that's shaming. But he's not allowing it to happen. Instead, what is he doing? He's shielding. I love how he does that. He shields Fresh, and then he'll speak for him. It's like, my dude, I thought you said shaming is a great tactic to use to improve someone's life. Come on, man, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I was really about to say it, but I'm about to say it myself. Rules for thee, but not for me. It's Myron will contradict himself, at least when it comes to defending Fresh, and because we know that Fresh is indefensible and he doesn't know how to stand up for himself. So like he has to be there for him, to speak for him. Rules for thee, but not for me. He can shame Fresh, but we can't.
Yeah.
Like he can call him an idiot, whatever, and I mean he's let it slip a few times. He's like, look, man, I pulled Fresh aside and I told him he was an idiot for doing this and da. But see, the thing is, I don't hold him accountable on camera for you guys. I hold him accountable off camera. It's like that's almost just as bad that you let us know that.
Yeah,
like you might as well just not said it. If he never told us that, we would have never known that. That mainly is referring to the whole Daisy saga and how Fresh got the Asian girl pregnant and basically put the whole podcast on ice, potentially, to because they already weren't getting paid, and then like whatever money they were bringing in, he was gonna have to like split it down the middle, and give some money to her.
Yeah, that's not a good thing, especially for a business model.
Yeah. Anything at all.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like, my dude, like you don't have to lie, or not even lie, but you don't have to like do things away from your fan base. Your fan base literally made you guys. You guys are Fresh and Fit because of them. I don't understand why they have to do stuff off air. I also don't like how they're always constantly saying like, you guys are the ones that you guys don't believe in us. Like, remember when he like exploded? he broke that Punisher cup because he was like so upset that like the fans were like against them. It's like, my dude, like you guys, they made you guys, you know, like I mean, the fans aren't always right, but
yeah, man,
to a degree,
well, yeah, his whole stance was that like that he said that he gave us free content, like all this free content. I'm like, motherfucker, you were getting paid. Yeah, he was getting paid, man. You guys were getting paid when you guys were monetized. Like, you can't say the first 3 years you guys gave all this free content because you guys were getting paid. That whole point of him saying that, you know, we do all this for men and stuff because we want to see men, you know, succeed and stuff. But then at the same time, it's like, I don't think you would be doing it if you were doing it for free. Because we're obviously seeing the ramifications of now that they do not have that monetization strategy anymore. They have to come up with different strategies now. They have to see what else is out there. You know, Myron has to go on other shows like Jubilee, and they have to go on other shows to, you know, try to, you know, get the word out and stuff. But, you know, because he's not I mean, Fresh and Fit is dying, bro, and it's the fact that the Fresh and Fit are still around, it still boggles my brain. But this has only been like a year since I've said this, so the fact that they're still on YouTube but still not making any money, but they still, you know, have a platform, it's still, I guess they're just, YouTube is playing it like, well, as long as we just do never give them the remonetization, you know, like they're just going to be spinning their wheels, like hoping that we do, and we can just get them to just work for free.
Maybe.
You know?
I mean, what were they originally demonetized for?
I believe it was like, well, it was like racially charged content. They are also were platforming people that were, I think, like banned from the website, you know. So I think the whole circumvention thing came into play. So they had Nick Fuentes on, who was banned from YouTube. They also, you know, threatened Abin Preach or whatever with like what's it called? They threatened them. They also used like racial slurs and stuff to them. And then they also did like Myron had his KKK outfit as well. So just like extreme, you know, hate content, whatever. And then they also got in huge trouble for false reporting channels that were criticizing them. So they were just putting out like false copyright strikes. So they had like 7 days to basically retract all that stuff, or their channel was going to get terminated, basically. So yeah.
Yeesh.
Mm-hmm. Remember, like it was yesterday, man. But yeah. So but now they were holding out hopes that they could, you know, when Trump got back into office, they're like, oh, you know, we're going to get our monetization back. I'm like, no, you're not, dude. It's like, I guess because they had amended some of their rules, like, you know, talking about the cough and stuff is okay now. Criticizing the president is okay. You know, you're not going to, you're going to have like protections for that. Whereas I think before, if you had spoken to anything about like, you know, election information or like fraud and stuff like that, you know, you would get like a strike and stuff. But now that's not the case anymore. So yeah. Not like something that I'm like particularly it doesn't hurt me that's happening. It's almost like, you know, you're it happened on its own, man. Like they did it to themselves, you know. Like it wasn't, I can't even say it was Fresh's fault, man. It was Myron. Like Myron is the real cause of why Fresh and Fizz died, man. It's like, man, you really had to lean into that whole stick that you have on X Space right now, man. Like why, man? For what?
Yeah.
You know, like I it's like, it's almost like we all know he worships, you know, Andrew Tate and stuff like that, and I almost think like he wants to get canceled just like him, you know. Just so that he can have that as like a badge of honor and stuff. Like I think I don't know. It's just like a weird, twisted thing. Yeah. I mean, and now Myron and Fresh are basically gonna go out and protest Andrew Tate while he's, you know, in court and stuff, and, you know, basically kind of still cape for him and say that he's innocent and everything. And it's hilarious, you know. It's like the amount of supporters that Andrew Tate has now, like publicly, has dwindled You know, like there's really nobody left. I don't know if you heard when he was. I mean, he's still locked up, whatever. But when he was, I think within his like first week of being locked up, there was supposed to be like a lot of people out there protesting and stuff, and there was like only like one guy that was out there with a sign, and it was basically saying Tates are heroes, and that was it. And yeah, it was pretty sad, you know.
Well, it's like I've said before, Camp. Fresh and Fit, the Tates, and everybody who are like them, they're not really people in the manosphere who really give a darn about men.
No, they don't. He said, "Hey, I'll go to jail with you." When he said that, when they were in Romania and stuff, and I was like, "I bet you wouldn't say that to Angie." Oh yeah, I would. That was basically Myron putting Andrew Tate over Angie, because he said that. He was like, "Look, I will go to jail with you, you know, because I believe you're innocent." And I was like, "Yeah, I bet he would never do that for Angie." He would be like, "Bye. It was nice knowing you."
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
dumb woman.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, dude. Never go to jail for Angie, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
hey, Cabos.
Man, he would. Is that Cabos? What's
Yo,
up,
what's
Cabos?
up?
How you been, bro?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, dude. Can you hear us?
Yeah, perfectly.
Bro, is Sonic alive, man? You got the inside scoop?
No, I don't. I haven't talked to him.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because I mean, I know you guys are friends and stuff. And I figured I'd bait him with this appreciation stream, you know? Because, I mean, it worked for VillaTube. And
right.
I might have to do
No,
a part two.
that's what I tried to do last stream when I was saying that he was like dodging me and stuff. I was just trying to bait him to see if he could like,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, the thing is, like, I don't think what we said was that bad. I mean, I think I even told him, like, in the stream that you were there. I was like, bro, like, it's okay that we disagree. I actually enjoy it that we do, because I think we have a fruitful conversation, you know? We don't have to agree with each other, but we can still come together and be civil and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I
you think he took it to heart?
I hope not. I mean, I thought I made myself pretty clear that, you know, there's no hate, you know? And I'm not out here trying to make him look bad. Only his answers can make himself look bad. And I'm not going to be taking him out of context. I'm just going to be playing the clip, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, hopefully you didn't.
I hope not. I mean, maybe, hopefully he's just taking a detox from social media, because he's already done this before. That first clip that I played from him, whatever, that was from like months back before he changed his content style and stuff. He was getting bored, you know? He was getting burnt out because he was going so hard. You know, I think he was putting out like 5 to 8 videos a week. And I just think it's burnout, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I figured he would at least, you know, say something to you or whatever, because I don't think he had any beef with you.
No.
But
well, I mean, we're friends, but we're not like best friends. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I got you.
Like we're me and him are friends the same way that like you and I are friends. You know?
Okay. I mean, I didn't know if, like, you know, you went on his streams and stuff, and, you know, maybe you guys had conversations and stuff, because I looked at his channel. I'm like, this guy hasn't uploaded in over a month, you know?
Yeah.
Just nothing. So, and then, you know, I even messaged him on Instagram, you know, and all I wrote was appreciation stream tonight. That's it.
Yeah. You said there was people that wanted to talk to him?
Yeah, so there was this one girl that wanted to speak to him because she didn't really agree with all of his points in terms of, like, you know, men and women, how, you know, women approaching men and stuff, and this whole men and women being equal and everything. And she's like, I would really like to talk to him, you know? And I was like, you know what? I think he might be a little bit more susceptible to, like, a female telling him something rather than me saying it, because he thinks I'm a dinosaur. You know? He thinks I'm out of touch. And, you know, I'm just being contrarian just to be that way. And I'm being performative and stuff. I'm like, but I think if he hears it from a woman, he might be a little bit more open to it. You know?
Right. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, even Hank came out today. Hank came out. He was in the chat for a little bit, which was very surprising. But yeah, I was just like, if Sonic doesn't show up, like, you don't have to show up, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So, But no, I mean, I'm generally concerned. I hope he's okay. You know. I know.
Right.
I know.
I mean, I don't.
I know.
I
it
wouldn't
might not.
suspect anything like. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I don't want anything bad to happen to him. You know, I hope he's in a good place. You know.
No, yeah, same.
Yeah,
same.
So, I mean, I don't know, man. We're just a bunch of guys over here talking, man. Not like we're not out here plotting against each other and shit, you know. But it's just all good fun, man. And that's one thing that I was trying to get to on this video that we're watching. Is like our first time that we met. I explained to him that most of my friends, like my good friends that I have for years and years and years, you know, we give shit to each other like back and forth, you know, and the true friends that I have are the ones that can like dish it back, you know, because I'll never get offended. Like I can take criticism and I can laugh at myself. So I just hope that I didn't say anything that basically like struck a nerve or whatever. So.
Yeah. Hey, Camp, you said you saw Obsession, right?
Yes, I finally saw it. I have the Blu-ray actually. I went and bought it the moment it came out. Did you see it?
Yeah, I watched it like 2-3 days ago.
I had somebody ask me if I could do a movie review, and I was like, well, I could do it, but I think it would be cool if I had like a group of people that way we can kind of talk about it and stuff.
Right.
So
yeah, I wanted to get like your thoughts on it. Like I'm not sure if you reviewed it, you know.
I have not reviewed it, but I was actually thinking we could probably do that. I mean, I don't really want to do that right now. I don't want to like.
No, yeah, we don't have to.
Yeah, no, but I think that's something that we could definitely do. If you're down.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of controversy surrounding it.
There is, yes.
A lot of people are divided. It's kind of actually shedding a lot of light on incel culture. A lot of people are kind of like, you know, Bear's not the villain, whatever. And I think that's like one of the hottest takes out there right now. But
I'd have to see the movie first, because isn't it on a Peacock or something?
It is streaming on Peacock. Yep.
Yeah, or I got Peacock. I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I would definitely say watch it, and then yeah, man, we could have a little chat about it, dude. And then maybe I can get some stills together, and we can just go through it, dude. Because I've been thinking about it a lot. I've already watched it twice already, and then I watched it again with my wife, and then I watched it again, just the director's commentary. So I've seen everything there is to see about it now. So
yeah, so you've heard like the theories and stuff that they've been.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I watch those daily, actually. I watched on my way to work. Actually, I was watching one that was going through, you know, things that we missed about, you know, things that were right there in the film that, you know, if you missed it or you were looking hard enough, whatever, you would it kind of changes a little bit of context there. So, but no, I'll write down notes and stuff, and then if you're down next week, I'm totally down to talk about it. If you are.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool,
yeah,
man.
I'm down.
Awesome. Cool, man. But yeah, I just what was it? I guess going back to this whole appreciation stream, if Sonic doesn't show up tonight, I hope he takes the time to at least maybe comment, you know, and just say I'm good or I'm alive. I'll be cool with that, you know. Because if he's detoxing from all the internet, like, then he's probably not going to respond to any of this. But whatever, you know.
I mean, considering how good AJ got on him, it might be a minute.
I don't really think that was that bad, though. I mean,
well, from our perspective, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, you're true. I guess that's right. Yeah, I guess because Sonic was whipping out a lot of those debate terms, wasn't he? Triggered, manipulating, straw man. Oh, dude, the straw man was the best one, dude. I had to make that into a clip because that was one of the best shits ever, dude. And then, yeah, that was just, man. I mean, I think he was just going through he was going down in flames, dude. And
yeah.
That was that was good, man. It was funny because I did an interview with AJ. I don't know if you saw that, Kavos. I basically went on his channel and we talked for a little bit, and we kind of alluded a little bit to Sonic, but we didn't actually say his name. He's like, "Oh, so you also got some debates on your channel?" I'm like, "Yeah, I debate people that like they're very strong and passionate against my certain points, man." And that was pretty much the gist of it. But yeah, Sonic, he's a big part of this channel, dude. Like, a lot of my favorite content is our debates. You know,
I still remember the first one you guys had. That one was really good.
Yeah. No, I was just talking to Taking Souls for Free about that because he was in here earlier, and yeah, the whole tipping debate, that was a good one. That we had to make that into a two-parter, you know, and then the what it means to be a man, I thought that was cool, you know. So no, I love the debates, man. The debates were fun. So this recent one though was pretty funny. Just women proposing to men, and then like the female attractiveness scale, dude. That shit was fun, dude. I watched that probably like 10, maybe 15 times, dude. So good. But anyway, let's keep going. Have you seen this stream where I went on Sonic's stream? This is like our first conversation ever.
I haven't actually.
Oh shit. No. Yeah, dude, you're in for a treat, dude. This was like me and Sonic come together for the first time, and like everything was very cordial. Like I still had my same points, and he was like, he didn't really like fight me on any of it, whatever, but he did kind of like he did have a little bit of things that I didn't really pick up on, like when he was talking about you know, being around women and stuff. He was just like, yeah, you know, like I just have a lot of men and women friends and stuff, and you know that's kind of like a good way, because you know people in the friend group, they end up liking each other, and you know it's either a good or a bad thing, whatever. That's what he was saying. And then I was like, yeah, but you know, I think I was talking about willpower. I was talking about willpower, and then he was talking about prevention. And I was saying, yeah, like so if you have like a strong willpower, then you know you can go out and hang out with, you know, anybody, and you know you have the agency whether you want to pursue a girl or not. And if a girl is like into you but you're not into her, like you have that willpower to be like, no, I'm good, you know. But yeah, then he was saying how, talking about prevention, and how he's like, well, just don't go out, you know, and then you don't have to worry about willpower. I was like, well, I mean, that's a little extreme, you know. But I mean, I didn't say that during this time, but that was just like, you know, it's like we had a little bit of differences even in our first meeting, you know, but like it wasn't contentious. It was just kind of like a very very friendly, you know, the way it went. So, but yeah. We're just going to continue on, and I think you're going to see more insight in terms of like how we kind of differed on things, but we weren't contentious in the beginning. So
yeah. Hey, just before you played, have you ever had like a friend group?
Yeah. So
like the same way that like Sonic had it.
Yeah, so we did, when I was working in restaurants, I had a friend group where we met every Monday, and sometimes more than just Mondays, but we did this thing called Mario Kart Monday, and this was during the time when the Wii U came out, and Mario Kart Monday actually evolved to like Mario Kart and Smash Brothers Mondays. But so it started out with like me, 2 guys and 2 girls, and then it ended up, we kept bringing in more people from work, and then friends of friends. And it got to the point where it was like 30 people, just like Sonic. And I believe the 10th Mario Kart Monday, or no, I'm sorry, not the 10th, the 40th MKM. That's what it was. 40th MKM, we actually had like 30 people. It was all like a picture and stuff. And, you know, we had like cake, we had pizza, we had smoking and beer and all that stuff, and it was a good time, you know. And it wasn't just at my house. Like it evolved from everybody meeting at my house, and then we ended up like, you know, going to other people's houses, and it was cool, man. It just kept growing, and it was just something that we just kept doing, you know. But yeah, we hung out like not just at Mondays, but like Mondays was something that like we had to do, but then we'd also meet, you know, again like on, you know, like, you know, Fridays and Saturdays, weekends and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, I've had that experience that he's talking about, you know, having like a big group of friends and stuff. But these are going to be like coworkers mixed with like friends of friends, you know?
Yeah.
And I would say during that 7-year period where I was single, You know, like I had that group of friends to kind of fill that void in my life. So I wasn't really worried about a relationship at that point because I had my friends to kind of fill that, you know? So I was never really like alone, you know? So like Sonic being in this position where like, well, where he was in that position where he had like a bunch of friends and stuff and it was cool, but it got to be like, you know, too much for him and stuff. Like I remember being in that point, but you know, like the thing is, I still keep in contact with all these people, but you know, we've all grown up. Some of us got married, some of us have kids, you know, some of us moved away, but we still keep in contact, you know, through like social media and stuff.
Yeah.
So
you know what's interesting too? That I wanted to bring this up to Sonic if we ever got the chance to talk, but like, if you notice, right, like the friend group that he was in, he kept talking about how it was led by his sister.
Yes.
And he was talking about how he wanted like his next friend group to be led by his sister. But I was going to bring up the fact that, well, you know, maybe the fact that your sister led the previous group and maybe that's what caused all those issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is
no,
like,
I agree.
Like women aren't really meant to
me and
lead like
Camp
that. You get what I mean?
No, yeah.
Yeah, me and Camp talked about that. We had a private conversation about that.
I just think that he just needs to stand on his own 2 feet and have his friends, you know, that kind of just mess with him and not like adjacent to his sister, you know? Like I get it, him and his sister are close, you know, like I kind of have that same situation with my sister, but you know, we have our own families, of course, and now we kind of just we both work and we've both been very busy. So like we see each other on holidays and stuff now, you know, but I mean, it's still a very close relationship that, you know, like I can tell her anything, she can tell me anything. And, you know, we trust each other and stuff like that. You know, we're like each other's best friends and stuff. So like, I understand that whole dynamic and stuff, but like this whole, like your sister, he's kind of like in the frame of his sister. And he says, you know, like he doesn't want to be a leader. So that kind of, all of that kind of tracks to me, you know, it all kind of goes hand in hand. So that's why I was like, okay, so, you got to lead the next group that you have, you know, I think you'll get a little bit more fulfillment out of that because now it'll be on your terms and you might not have to worry about kicking people out, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but yeah. Dude, he would wash his underwear and everything, man. He would be his bunkmate. Talking about Myron going to jail with Tate. I'll see. I think it's a little bit further along. Let me see if I can find. See, look how young he looks here. There's only like a year, but like he's completely different now. He's completely changed now. Follow up. This was like 6 months ago when it was still fresh, and he's like, nah, man. He's like, I don't want to. He's like, I want to basically wait until we get more stuff, you know, because a lot of the stuff a lot of his points were fed from Reddit. You know, they basically built a case. Talking about eventual warlord. Actually, let me go back a little bit just so you guys hear that. King of YouTube in terms of like this whole fresh and fit thing, like that's how they regard us, at least on Reddit. Like I'm the YouTube guy and he's the Reddit guy. You know. Yeah, I mean, he came with some points. What'd you say?
Kavos dropped from chat, I think.
Oh, he's probably still listening to the stream though. It's fine. What he said, and this is his word. He's like, look, I was too emotional about my arguments, whatever. He said if I was more like Camp and a little bit more level-headed, I would have been able to handle that conversation a little bit better. But I got to my emotions and I started hurling ad hominems at Fresh and everything, and he's like, I lost it after that. Well, then he said this on Reddit. He's like, man, people sleep on Camp, man. Yeah. He's like, Camp freaking he's on their ass, but he's not like, he's level-headed about it, and he's smart about it. And I was like, hey, man, for you to say something like that, that's cool, you know, because I think that, you know, he had some solid points, and that's why I was like, dude, I told him, I was like, dude, I'd love to do like a one-on-one conversation with you and like have kind of like a follow-up. This was like 6 months ago when it was still fresh, and he's like, nah, man. He's like, I don't want to. He's like, I want to basically wait until we get more stuff, you know, because a lot of the stuff a lot of his points were fed from Reddit. You know, they basically built a case on Fresh with the whole Miranda situation and the whole Daisy thing, and then the whole Duck and Auburn preaching a fight and everything. Like, all that stuff was all built up on Reddit over time, and it was just kind of the perfect storm for him to release his argument on the same episode that I did my argument. And I even said this. I was like, "Yo, you freaking cooked them for like an hour," and then I showed up 4 hours later, and I said 17 more minutes.
Dude, no, you know what's crazy too? That one thing that I wish you had were your notes. I wish you had your notes. Bro, I felt like you would have just.
Okay, so his Kavos' phone died, so that's why he dropped out. See, I figured he'd still be in the chat.
You would have destroyed these guys, like, if you would have had your notes.
Well, the thing is, I should have just told Fresh. I'm like, look, man, I'm done talking about. Dakota says, I'm gonna head out though. It's getting late. Yeah, appreciate you coming to the stream, man. Thanks for shedding some light, man. Yeah, man. I wanted to at least know if you heard from Sonic or not, but hopefully he sees this and he sees that, you know, he's not an enemy here, man. We're just we're concerned, you know. We hope that he's okay and he's still around. About the book, man, I actually would like to talk to Myron right now because I got some stuff I need to say to him. You know, like, I didn't want to let go of the joke because the joke was good, and I thought about it, and I put a lot of thought in it, man. I wanted to commit to it, and I didn't want to like, but that's all it was, man. It wasn't it wasn't something that was like, okay, this is something I'm serious about that I want to really come out with a book, whatever, so I can like, it just kind of evolved into that, you know. Now I'm just like, you know what, I might have to just fucking drop this thing because too many people are asking me for it, man. What's his face? John Anthony Lifestyle wants to do a collaboration with me, and he wants me to actually debut. Oh man, John Anthony Lifestyle, or I guess you could call him John Tranthony, because you know he was that dating coach that was bragging about having over like 1,000 bodies. I think he was closer to like 1,800 or something like that. But he ended up getting demonetized and kicked off YouTube. And he was like also critical of like Fresh and Fit and stuff. But he also did a video on my call, and then he also spoke about me like on a couple other videos or whatever, because he would keep referring back to that call. And I remember he told me, he's like, yeah, if you could, if you want to collaborate and stuff, if you want to debut your book, I'll be more than happy to host you. But now he's been taken off of YouTube, and I believe he's on Rumble now. But yeah.
Why do you get kicked off of YouTube for?
That's a good question. I know that he's a lot of people used to call him John Anthony Lawsuit because he was really quick to sue people.
Okay.
And I don't know if he would like press certain cases and stuff, or if like he spent a lot of money doing that and stuff. But I do know that there was, I think it all boiled down to like cyberbullying at one point. Because I think I don't know if it was like necessarily like Fresh and Fit, whatever, but he was clashing with other creators and stuff online. I think he was getting like copyright strikes and whatever. I think he ended up getting like 3 strikes for reused content or something like that. But yeah, on his live stream, and I was like, bro, I'm not really writing anything, dude. The whole fact that when people say, oh, it's actually pretty sad that you're writing a book on Fresh, like he's fucking useless. I'm like, no, I agree with you. That's why I'm not actually doing it. Like that was just a way for me to fucking like dig at him, but also at the same time, you know, say some valid points, man, and you know, get zero pushback and just, you know, get the shit off.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I just want to ask, you know, like how could, like now I know back then it was different, but now it's a completely different beast. How can you get like a one-on-one with these guys?
With Fresh and Fit?
Yeah, like to talk to them over the phone. Like how can you do that? Do you have to go through that?
It would have to. No, it would have to be on a call-in show. That would be the one and only way, because I'm definitely not paying for Castle Club. I'm definitely not going to super chat them on FNF Super Chat. Which that was how they would kind of get people to call in. They're like, donate to FNF Super Chat and we'll bring you to the front of the line. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, I get it. It's all a tactic to make money and stuff. But you give Myron a long enough time where there's like everybody's just glazing him and stuff. He's like, all right, let's get a hater on the line. I'm like, yes. So it's like,
that's actually kind of sad that he would actually just not just let a random mix of people glazing him and haters just coming and going. It'd be a lot more entertaining if that was the case.
Well, that's the thing. That's what the people look for. You know, people know that the haters are a lot more entertaining, and they get so many more clips out of like haters, and that stuff goes viral. Whereas like people are just glazing them and like thanking them for like getting them out of their mom's basement, whatever. Like nobody remembers that shit. You know?
Yeah,
it's just generic. You know, it's like, dude, get a life, man. You know?
Oh yeah, you don't need to tell me twice.
No, but the people that come in with the hate, dude, that shit's so memorable. It's so good. I would never. That's just against my religion. But what I will say is that, you know, like Myron, what I'm doing right now, I am lying in wait. Okay, I'm letting Fresh and Fit get comfortable with doing call-in shows again, because Myron did say, he's like, hey man, let's get a hater online. Like they're starting to get confident again, you know, that like, oh, we can deal with this. So I just kind of want to lead them into a false sense of security so that I can really come in and just go in and talk to Myron, man, and get everything that I have prepared off. You know, I don't want to do a separate video on it where I'm just kind of like, you know, whatever. I want to actually speak to him directly, because I think that's the best way to really address things.
Yeah.
You know, I've never been a drama person. It's like, no, it's like, you know, to some people they might think that the content I do is drama, you know, because it's just controversial content, the week to week, whatever. I personally don't like drama, but I don't even like covering, you know, like stuff that is like controversial and stuff. Like I like to talk about stuff that I think is interesting, but necessarily like when it's like, you know, people that are fighting and stuff, like other content creators, like that stuff isn't interesting to me, you know?
It's really not. I mean,
yeah,
it's boring to a degree when you really think about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I will like that thing with Fresh was a complete one-off. You know, like if you go on my channel, I got nothing else like that. That was just, you know, that was something that, boy, how times have changed.
Yeah,
I got a lot of stuff like that now. I mean, people were telling me, they're like, dude, you should really just lean into this, man, and just capitalize on it, because not only was, you know, your call a good video, but I know there's people that are anti-Fresh and Fit and would like to, you know, hear more about, you know, just real people talking, you know, and real people like who deal with the real world and are actually authentic, and not just trying to sell courses and trying to, like, you know, get young men to subscribe and stuff like that, you know, like are really out here just trying to like help people, you know. So
yeah,
got a lot of people telling me that, and you know, I was just like, you know what, I didn't know how to capitalize on the whole video at first, because I was just like, you know, I just want to, I guess I'll do a reaction to it, but at the time I didn't have the equipment to, you know, show my face like that. So I was like, well, you know, I can at least do like an audio version of that, you know. And some people were like, yeah, I kind of wish you had like a camera, you know, a decent camera that you could have like had your commentary and stuff, and I think that would have been better. But I was like, unfortunately, it is what it is, you know. So
yeah, and then not to mention the fact that they probably would have gone after you for that too.
Maybe, yeah. It was just like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and fuck, I don't have my notes, but fuck it, I'm gonna do it anyway, you know. But luckily, Fresh is low hanging fruit. It's actually easy to pull off, you know. Like it's nothing. It's nothing to speak facts and have him just be like, well, you don't know what I do. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Nobody knows what you do, bro. It's like, come on, man. What do you call that, a comeback? What is that?
Dude, he only has.
But
like,
no, it's like it.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to what I didn't want to do was throw any ad hominems at him. I wanted to just like be completely factual and just not emotional. Like if he started like getting defensive and stuff like that, I'd just keep moving on my next point and just keep hitting him with more and more stuff and just keep going until he's just like, all right, stop. Like stop, I can't take it anymore. Because I have that ability, man, to just like really like, I mean, I don't know about do you remember when I don't know if you're probably old enough for this, but snapping, when people used to snap on each other in school, like they used to say like really clever things like, oh, like your mama's so fat.
Yeah.
Da 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 da. Do you remember? Okay. Yeah. So I used to have a book on that. It was called The Book of Snaps. And I read that book like cover to cover, and it was kind of funny how snapping, it dates back to like African origins, and it's kind of like a way of digging at people, but it's also a way of establishing like deep relationships with people, because if you can tell somebody the darkest things about themselves, but say it in a way to where it's like humorous, you still get the point across, and you still affect that person, you still get them to think about it, but you're not doing it in a malicious way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the line that I like wanted to adopt when it came to critiquing Fresh or critiquing anybody, that I come across, is that I don't want to come off as malicious. I don't want to come off as like, I hate this person. And believe me, I got a lot of people who are like, yo, you're a generational hater, bro. Yeah. I was like, see, like I would think that statement would apply to Sonic as well, because even though like we have had our differences and I've said a lot of things about him, and he said a lot of things about me, it's still almost to a point where it's like, I feel like I can say this about him to him, and I don't have to worry about him like taking it the wrong way,
Yeah.
It's just, it's just something that I figured, there was like an understanding there, and the same thing, he would do the same thing to me, and of course I'm going to give him some pushback if I disagree. I'm just not going to I'm just not going to leave it on the table and be like, all right, well, you're right. No, like if I have something to say about it, or a disagreement, then yeah, I'm going to disagree. And yeah,
I mean, that's normal, natural discourse.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he acts is a bit like, we should all just agree and it's okay. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah. And I think we know, like, our sense of humor is vastly different, because I had to, I don't know if I didn't make that part in a clip where he was talking about, what was it? Handing me a huge L. Remember that?
What huge L?
And he had to get the moving truck or whatever to move the huge L or something, and it was just a lame joke at the end of the day, and I was just like, and then you said, you're like, hey Sonic, can you mute your mic if you're gonna talk to someone?
Yeah. I thought he was literally talking to somebody else.
And then it was just like, no, it was so bad. He's like, no, it was a joke. And I'm like, yeah, it was a bad joke, And I'm like, don't quit your day job, Sonic.
I was just like, if I was, my first, to be perfectly honest here, Cat, my first thought was, dude, if that's the best you've got, you need to go watch every stand-up comedian who's actually good.
Yeah.
And watch them go through their sets and just be like, okay, how do I do this?
Yeah. I think tonation, the way you deliver it and stuff, it has everything to do with the success of a joke. Okay.
Oh yeah. I took a basic acting class at university, and when I started applying it a bit more to my YouTube stuff, it shows.
I mean, I think you just need to, trim down your jokes, trim all the fat off, and just say the words that can't be left out, and you should be okay. But I think his joke about the huge L was too wordy, and it was almost to the point where it was confusing.
Oh no! Like what he should have done is he should have said, "Hey man, bring in the truck." You see, and then he should have been like, "Hey, camp, you see that huge L over there? It's yours."
Right. Yeah.
Just make it quick, snap. Just make it
Yeah, maybe you would throw in like a car backing up sound effect or something like that. That would have been the cherry on top. But the thing is, man, you got to plan better.
I know.
You got to plan better, because this whole like thinking on your feet, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, man.
I mean, this is why when you're leading Marines, that split decision is what keeps you alive, and you've got to have it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know the result of taking a bullet for someone else. Sonic's got to think about it.
Oh yeah,
he's got to think about it. How much you're worth to him or not. So it's not automatic. I mean, I'm like, no, man. It's like I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy that spits facts, bro. And I'm not trying to. If I hurt your feelings, I hurt your feelings. But hey, man. This is very true right here. You need to get out of those feelings, man. Because you know what? This is real life, man.
Yeah.
You only go around one time, and whether we make an impact or not, you're not going to please everybody, and I don't think we're not built for that. We're not. I mean, the world isn't built for that, and I think as soon as people start accepting that we can coexist and we can get along a lot better.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you because I know that Myron he loves that kind of stuff. He likes to snap at people, and I wanted to ask you, have you ever seen him try to snap at people?
I've seen him, I mean, he goes off on women.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he goes off on women. And, but I mean, whenever I see him go off on a man, it's usually just like, oh, you're a brokey, or you're a beta male simp, or you're just like, I mean, it's all kind of like the same rhetoric. It's never like a unique situation and stuff, I think there was one guy that was on their show. I can't remember his name. I think it was like Slippy or Slappy. Coke Penny says, remember when Sonic said he'd rather tip fast food employees than waiters? Yes, I remember that. He was talking about how he would go to McDonald's and there was a guy there that, he would just basically ask him how his day was. So then Sonic would talk to him and have this conversation. And then he said that after a while, he built up such a rapport that he felt like he wanted to tip the McDonald's worker, just a little bit extra, maybe something like $5, whatever, so he can get something to eat. And he said over time, he would go in there and the guy would be there and, he would kind of, give him a discount on a couple things, whatever. And it was kind of like this, like even exchange and stuff. He would tip him and then, he would get discounts and stuff, but he wasn't doing it for the discounts. It's just kind of what happened, whatever. And then he told me, he's like, yeah, one day I went in there and he wasn't there anymore. I'm like, yeah, you probably got fired for giving you too many discounts.
Yeah.
He was probably giving you like the police discount, the military discount, It was just like, yeah, we got to let you go, man. That guy surely was not in the military that you were giving. But no, I thought it was thought that was pretty funny because he would go into restaurants and he was just like, he's like, I don't really want to tip these waiters, man. It's like, motherfucker, like they're doing everything for you. It's like you're willing to go into a place like a tipped establishment and get all of the benefits of someone who is working for tips, and you're not going to fulfill your end of the bargain. But you're going to go to a place where tipping is not encouraged, and that's where you feel comfortable leaving a tip. It's so weird,
Yeah, that is weird.
I was like, Sonny, you got this all wrong, man. But yeah, I remember that, dude. That's another thing that he's just like, dude, you're different, man. You just don't like to be told what to do, man. You don't like to conform to social norms, man.
Well, it's have an understanding of social norms.
Yeah. It's like
if you don't understand social norms, you're gonna get nowhere fast.
Don't go out to eat. Don't go out to eat, man, because you're just gonna ruin everybody else's time. Just
not to mention if you go to another country, being rude in other countries as an American, the locals there will treat you pretty poorly, and you might get jumped too.
Sure. But, I mean, we both know that Sonic hasn't left the United States. That's another fact there.
Yeah.
So, you know, let's just deal with the stuff while he's here. You know, I mean, don't tip McDonald's workers. Okay, they get paid fine. But tip your waiter, tip your waitress. You know,
I mean, considering that most McDonald's workers get tipped more than servers by a huge margin, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like that. It was a guy that you know, he obviously had a very low self-esteem, and I think Myron he took a different approach with him. He was like, look, man, you know, he's like, I get it that you're down and depressed, but you know, you live in America, you know, your lights are on, you got running water, is your fridge full? He's like, yeah. It's like, so what the hell do you got to be depressed about, man? You know, and he went a completely different direction. Whereas like normally he would have just been like, oh yeah, dude, you're a loser. You know, like you need to get your ass in the gym. You need to stop worrying about these females, and you need to get your money up. You know, he would have just like went completely. Coke Manny came back. He says McDonald's workers get paid more than they deserve. Dude, that's facts, bro. Straight facts. Because, I mean, I can remember the last time I was in McDonald's. There was like 3 people in there, and I think the kiosks weren't working. So like I'm standing at the register, like old school style, like waiting for somebody to come get me, and like all 3 of them had like glanced at me, but they like continued doing what they were doing. It's like they were prioritizing the drive-through over the people that are actually in the store. And I'm like, can one person come over here and help me, whatever? And they're like, oh, you didn't want to order in kiosk? I'm like, it's down. And they're like, oh, huh.
Wow.
Like, how long has that happened? You know, it's like, dude, you probably had people walk in and walk right out because you just, it's like, I'm glad I said something, you know? But no, they absolutely get paid more than they deserve, dude. There's plenty of people that just don't give a fuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is sad that they didn't even notice.
Yeah, it was like...
that is sad.
Because typically they have 2 kiosks and they're double-sided, so it's like 4 pretty much. And I checked it. Like, typically I don't go straight to the counter in most modern McDonald's, you know? Like, you go straight to the kiosk and get that done or whatever, and then that's it. I mean, it's very... antisocial now in McDonald's, you know, and a lot of other places are trying to catch on too. I think Whataburger's like that. I think Wendy's is like that. Taco Bell is like that. And yeah, they all move towards kiosks now. So yeah, I mean, the less talking they have to do to you, the better, you know?
Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, the way most franchise work, when they installed the kiosks, they moved priority from the dining room with the kiosks, because most people go to like order at the kiosk and they just go sit down and wait.
Yeah.
And then they just bring you the food and stuff.
Oh, the one I went to, I ordered it as a dine-in, and you know, where you have to grab the little table tent and stuff with your number. And I went and sat in the dining room and the food never came. And I went back to the counter, and they're like, yeah, we called for you, and and I looked at the ticket. I'm like, the ticket says dine in, and there's my table tent number right there. I was like, oh, do we not use this system? You know? And they're like, oh no, we just called for you. I'm like, what? So you guys aren't even using the system right? You know?
Wow.
So yeah, dude, like I've had a lot of bad experiences in terms of like McDonald's. And it really doesn't matter which one you go to, dude. They're all gonna kind of be like shitty in their own ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, these McDonald's workers are working just enough to not get fired. You know, it's not like the good old days.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of the reason why I think waiters even at Olive Garden deserve to be paid more than McDonald's workers, because, you know, if they don't do a good job, you know, not besides the fact that they don't get tips, you know, there's also the fact that, you know, they actually have some standards there.
Yeah.
You know, you can walk into a McDonald's and, you know, I think the last couple of times I went to McDonald's that wasn't at a drive-through, I was waiting like 10 minutes at the counter because they have most of their staff prioritizing the drive-through, and it's like, come on.
Yeah. And you know what I hate? I absolutely hate this, but I understand, you know, corporate they want to keep drive-through under like a certain amount of time. I think like 7 minutes is like the threshold. If you go over 7 minutes, like you're gonna get a phone call or a newsletter or something like that saying that you guys need to tighten up, whatever. So like they'll tell you to pull forward, but every time they pull forward, you'll never get everything right. And this is like, you know, it could be something as simple as like, oh, you forgot my fries, or you forgot my ketchup. They don't give ketchup with fries anymore. That's like, just forget about that. You know? And then or sometimes like you'll ask for like, I know I've done this because I'll have like the kids in the car. They want chicken nuggets, and you know they'll either want like barbecue sauce or they'll want like Big Mac sauce or something like that, or they're getting a Happy Meal and they won't get a toy in their thing. When I'm like, you know, most of the times I order through the app, and you know you specify whether you want a toy or not. They tell you to pull forward. I'm like, oh man, I gotta check my bag now because you guys are gonna forget something. You know?
Oh yeah.
So, dude, I can go on and on about how much McDonald's has really tanked, dude. And you know, you got people in there that they're not smiling. Nobody's happy to see you. You are impeding on their day just walking into that establishment. They're like, oh, another one. So.
Well, I mean, considering how many people treat McDonald's employees worse than some servers, you know, I, you know, on one hand, I don't blame them, but on the other, it's, you know, this is work. You gotta be professional.
Yeah.
You don't hear me cursing out my supervisors at my job. Come on,
dude. I've actually witnessed McDonald's workers like bickering amongst each other, you know, while people are waiting for their food in the lobby, and I'm just like, no self-awareness whatsoever, you know. Coke Penny says you can have poor customer service and still not get fired. That's true, man. The standard is very low. Is very low, and you know it's in retail as well, dude. I think Walmart is up there with poor customer service. Like you ask for something, it doesn't matter who you ask, they'll be like, oh, it's just over there. You know, it's like, would you mind, like, I don't know, walking me to the area and stuff like that? Is that a foreign concept? They're like, oh, you know, I'm on my break or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, thanks, I guess. You know? So, I mean, I've had that happen a bunch of times, dude, at Walmart. So, yeah, dude, I mean, I guess people just aren't getting paid enough to care, dude. That's what it is, you know?
They give you those cheap excuses, too.
Right. Like, I don't really know. It's not my area, you know? Or it's not my job. That's my favorite. It's not my job, you know?
Yeah, I mean, what is it? I think one of the worst ones I ever heard from a Walmart employee was they just kind of turned to me and just kind of gave me that deadpan look. It's not my area.
Yeah.
Well, can you call somebody?
Right.
I don't have a radio, sorry. And you just look at them and you can see the radio clipped right there.
Right.
And it's like, really?
Right. Yeah, no, it's just like the lowest effort possible, man. And yeah, it sucks, but yeah. But you know, you got people like Sonic that are willing to tip these employees and make a connection with them, and you know, different. He was like, no, he actually went in like a direction where he was like genuinely concerned and wanted to help this individual. And you know, it was a rare moment where I was like, oh, okay, maybe he's not all bad.
Yeah.
You know? But then, you know, he then he just doubles down and comes back with like just like all this racist rhetoric, and it's almost like, man, it's like, okay, I get it that you want to lean in, you want to be kind of controversial because you believe that any bad press is good press, or any attention is good attention. When I mean, I think we both know that's not the case. You know, you're it's like you're digging yourself a hole, and you're just like, well, fuck it, man. He's like, I might as well burn this whole place down. You know? But I mean, watching him on, you know, X Places, whatever, talking to FBAs and going in on how, you know, they just want a handout, and you know, they're lazy and they're in this victim mindset and stuff like that. I'm not gonna say that's not like, it's not you know, 100% false. Sure, there's some bad actors out there that do have a victim mentality about themselves and think that there is a you know, a global organization that has a hold on them, you know, where they can't strive for their dreams or achieve the things that they want because there's always going to be someone with a thumb on their back, you know. or limiting their ability.
Because I want to kind of take it back to like the sniping part is because the reason why I asked is because like he like has a tendency of like, you know, thinking that like he roasts people. Like I remember I saw like a video he was talking about like, yeah, you're gonna get roasted, and then like I'm like, oh right, all right, we're gonna hear some witty comebacks. And then like when he's like right there roasting, I'm like, bro, no, please tell me this isn't it, man. Like this is what you hyped it up to be.
No,
you know? And he was
dude,
just calling.
He sucks at roasting.
Yeah, he does. He was just like, bro, like you're a brokey, you got no money, you live in a basement, and I'm like, bro, that is not clever. You know who does have good snaps? Yeah. Chris and Sneeko. I think that both of these guys, like, because I've heard Chris, you know, say a couple jokes.
He can come up with a quick quip. But he's not that great at it.
He's good at impersonations, I think, because I've heard him do a few impersonations, and he's pretty spot on when it comes to when he's making fun of somebody. Like he makes fun of Andrew Tate now, like that's his prime target. But he's also severed ties with Nick Fuentes and also Clavicular, and he imitates all of them. And yeah, it's pretty good. I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop with him and Myron. Like I think he did recently crash out on Myron, but like I think they're still friends still. So he hasn't like completely severed ties yet. But yeah.
And they're pretty funny, you know. Sneeko too.
Chris is great, man.
Yeah. Chris is pretty funny, you know. But Myron, I'm just like, oh my gosh. And
yeah, I take my words back. I think Chris is an idiot. Like I think Chris is just as bad as Fresh, just in terms. I mean, because he gets drunk a lot, man, and he's a horrible host. And yeah, I think he belongs behind the camera as well. He's good in small doses. He's not good as a co-host. He's horrible. Whenever it's like Fresh and Chris, just skip the whole thing, dude. Throw the whole podcast away, dude. So yeah.
The reason why I asked.
They should probably just throw away whatever formula they've got going right now and just rebrand. It's not going to work. I mean,
dude, they can't, man. This is already the second rebrand, dude. They've already rebranded twice, so it's like,
well, whatever podcast took their format and just did 100% better. Come on.
Yeah, they have the 7-8 hour live streams, man. I mean, they're getting $200 super chats like every 20 seconds, dude. Maybe even less than that. And yeah, dude, I mean, they're making pretty great money, dude. To the point where they can just order pizza to the stream to keep it going for like a full 8-hour shift, you know? So, yeah.
You know, it's that kind of real life entertainment that will keep people interested in, you know?
No, I agree. I mean, the thing is, like, you kick all the girls off, you pretty much ended the conversation, you know? You might as well just end the stream. Because I think that's I mean, I hate to say it, but it's really the main reason why, the primary reason why people tune into them in the first place, you know? To get the conversation, to get the what's behind the curtain in terms of what you know, women think, you know? Because it's one thing for us to kind of spitball it and try to figure out, like, you know, what's the best approach and stuff like that. But when you actually have, you know, like 7 to 8 women of, you know, different races and stuff like that, ethnicities and cultures and stuff, you know, you can get a varied answer, you know, unless they're all OF, you know, people. But, you know, unfortunately, they kind of fall into the fact, you know, they're all, you know, they don't really have anybody that's ever just like a regular person. I think they just realized that would be too boring. Yeah.
Well, I think if they brought on, well, I mean, I think I've brought this up before on your show, Camp, that if they actually brought in, you know, more than just your standard Miami girl, it would be a much more different show, and Myron wouldn't be able to do the stuff he does on it.
No, I agree.
Plus, I think you'd probably notice the women get more and more uncomfortable with Fresh as the show went on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think there would be two things happening at once. Yeah, Fresh would be creeping them out, and Myron would not be able to pull the same tricks and traps and stuff because they wouldn't fall into that, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you get some respectable women on there, dude. I think it would probably be a nice little change of pace. But unfortunately, the only women that are dumb enough to go on that show are the ones that are looking for clout, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure respectable women don't care about clout like that. So it's just kind of like you kind of can only work with what you got, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, there might be the women who are business owners who might go on there for clout.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you know, if they went on there, who knows what they might do? I mean, I don't think Myron would last too long against a woman with a real master's degree who could actually debate properly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've seen some girls that can articulate themselves well that, you know, don't have OF accounts, you know, they're actually like in like maybe like the medical field or something like that. Or, you know, maybe they're a psychiatrist or something, you know, that's like not where they have to like go off their looks, you know, and it just seems like those people could just kind of get quiet and they kind of fade into the background. And the women that are, you know, a little bit more outlandish and a little bit more showy and stuff, those are the ones kind of overshadow everybody. So
yeah,
and it's always a mix of that. It's never just a straight group of you know, respectable women. It's never that.
Yeah,
so,
that's my point, is that
yeah,
if they actually brought on, you know, a woman who's been in business for 10 plus years with a master's, you know, she probably wouldn't take a lot of stuff they're lying down, but a therapist or someone with just a bachelor's who's not really in therapy, you know, they're probably going to back down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I agree. But yeah, I've seen some shows where I think they had maybe like, you can probably count on one hand where they were like, oh, you know, we have all these girls that none of them have OF accounts. Because I remember Myron had said he got frustrated because he had kicked all these girls off, and he's like, man, we got to stop bringing on these OF girls, man. They're just annoying and all this stuff like that. And then I remember the very next show, Chris like made it a point to say like, hey, none of these girls have OF, you know? And it's just like, wow, like how's that gonna work? But I mean, I think it ended up being a good show too. But of course, that never lasts. You know, it's like no, yeah, it was a one and done kind of thing. But yeah,
this is because I was gonna make a video on Myron and his snaps, and I was gonna talk about how like, bro, you cannot roast for shit, dude. Like you really can't. And I was just gonna make like comparisons, you know. But yeah, like
I think it's tough to be in the moment with your snaps, you know, like unless you got something that's like ready to go, which I think, you know, that's kind of how certain comedians can do crowd work and be really good because they have all these bits that are already kind of ready to go.
Yeah.
In case something happens, they have like kind of that type of framework. He's way too analytical to be creative like that.
Yeah,
that's just who he is, you know.
Yeah, I think another thing too is that like, you know, if you want to have like these snaps, I think that you kind of have to like train yourself to do it. You know, like you say you read the book of snaps, right? I have like 4 books on like snaps and quips and all of that, dude. I've read all.
Oh, what was that old show that was?
Yeah, like because like I'm really
it wasn't Beat. What was it?
What type of show was it?
I'm trying to think. There was that show that was on in the 2000s, and I forget the name of the show, but it was basically a giant dissing contest. I'm just like, you know,
oh, was it
Sonic should watch that.
You're talking about Nick Cannon Wildin' Out?
I think, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, basically you snap on people, but you also do it like in a rhyme, sort of like a rhyme scheme. Because that was kind of like they would have like a beat, and then you know, they would kind of like rap it and stuff like that. And but no, I think some of it was there was no music behind it, and it was just like, you know, either snapping on people or picking up women, you know, coming up with like clever pickup lines and stuff. And the audience would let you know if that was a good one. They'd give you like the ding ding ding, and the other one would be like, you know. If you got like 3 strikes, then the other team won basically. I think it was called Wild 'N Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds
I
like.
think if Sonic watched that, it might help him a little.
Oh, sure. I mean, just watch more comedy in general. I mean, I think something about the Book of Jokes, you get a lot of cheesy stuff in a Book of Jokes. Something about like the way that it's said in the delivery. I think that's something that you can get more out of when you see someone actually perform it than when you just read it. Because I mean, I think everybody has a different voice when they read, and or you know, comprehension and stuff like that. So it's like you got to kind of see how someone reads something or you know, perform something, and I think you get a lot more out of it.
Pretty big on
and then there's also your own inner monologue too.
Yes, absolutely.
And like snaps and all of that, and I write my own and all of that, and like I always like train my mind to think of it. So you know, when like I'm like engaged,
you gotta train harder, Sonic. Gotta train harder
with somebody. I can immediately analyze them, and I can think of like very clever ways to organize words in a sentence that can just like make it very snappy, you know. So, but like when I hear Myron say it, I'm like, damn man, like come on man, this you gotta like at least study some humorology, you know, because it ain't working, man. So
he says a lot of the same things. You know, he puts a lot of people in the same boxes, and it's repetitive. It's almost like, you know, it's just talking points with this guy.
Yeah,
he's like he's almost kind of like a Jesse Lee Peterson, Uncle Ruckus kind of deal. You know, like you kind of see where he's coming from, and you know. Maybe, I mean, Jesse Lee Peterson's probably more extreme. I would say Myron's probably a little bit more. I don't know. Yeah, I guess he's a little bit more calculated. Like he doesn't like. I don't know. I've seen him throw out insults, and yeah, sure, it doesn't land. It's almost kind of like, man, it's like you might as well should have just not said anything at all. You know? But excuse me. I have I
actually want to skip ahead of this a little bit because it's getting closer to where I'm gonna have to get off pretty soon. But I just wanted to kind of see if I can find anything else pertaining to Sonic. Hold on, where was it? At least in his just, you know, something to kind of like, I guess, showcase more of his personality as far as like taking a break from social media. So I think this video, it's only like 6 minutes. Let's check it out. I think this is where he had detoxed from politics and social media. So this happened about 4 months ago. So it seems like every like 4 to 6 months he goes through this like thing where he has to like just kind of step away for a bit and come back. Let's check it out.
Okay, so it's been some time since I've uploaded a video. Obviously, if you take a look at my catalog, I haven't uploaded in a month. And I decided to detox.
Hey, that sounds familiar, right?
Off of the whole political stuff. But to kind of put this into perspective as to just how much this was affecting me, I was upset all the time. Now, I know I would come on video and you guys would see probably me laughing, smiling. I don't think I was laughing or smiling. At least that's not what I remember feeling. But after I would get off, I wouldn't want to hang out with anybody. I wouldn't want to be with my family. I wouldn't want to do anything. And then I remember that day when I was covering this ice. I don't even think I uploaded that video. I don't even remember. But I remember there was a video that I watched. It was this ICE agent, or actually ICE agents in their vehicles chasing his father in a van with his son in a passenger seat. And this ICE officer was just ramming this car. You saw it all on video. As a matter of fact, let me show you guys a little bit of it. This video was the one that really just like, I was just like, man, dude, I think I'm done. I'm done for now. Just take a look at little bits of it. I'll link it down below if you guys want to watch the entire thing. It was a crazy story. See, this is like the son. He's like panicking. He can't stay calm. The father's telling him, you know, just calm down. It's okay. And then the entire time you have here ICE just chasing the vehicle and the father, right?
Fix the camera, kid. Jeez. Can't see nothing.
Yeah.
Nos están siguiendo, pues. Nos están siguiendo, pues. Nos están siguiendo.
No, and then it just keeps getting crazier. Watch.
They pulled into a restaurant depot lot where Arnoldo's father knew some of the workers and thought he might be safe.
You see the father, he doesn't even put it on park, he just leaves.
Arnoldo followed behind.
Hey, no, hell no. Get away from my dad, bro.
We ran into the restaurant. My dad got out the car first. I stayed in the car. And then when my dad ran inside, I saw like 3 men like fully like started kicking him down, punching him down.
Get away from my dad, bro. Get away from my dad, bro. Get away from my dad, bro.
And I was like not gonna like just let that happen, because you know like they're punching him, they're like treating him bad. I'm pretty sure everybody would react the same way if they saw their dad getting beat down.
Get the off me, bro. Get the off me.
You see the son just, again, like if you guys want to watch it uninterrupted, I'll link it down below, man. It's a crazy story. But you see the son, he's just like, he's fighting him because he's seeing his father obviously, you know, getting beaten down. And then that's not even the worst of it. Like you see him go home with his shirt all ripped off, obviously because these guys, they roughened him up.
I try my hardest to say.
At least he went home, right? Sheesh.
Yeah.
Could have been deported along with his father.
Cool, but my emotions got to me.
Did he say anything to you in that moment? Was he trying to communicate with you?
He was telling me, back away, it's fine, I'll be okay. But seeing how they were like, when they dropped him, that's when I was like, I'm not just gonna let this happen.
Homeland Security.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man. And then this is the part that I was telling you guys about, how like he shows up home with like everything ripped up. Watch.
A video of agents hitting the Bazan's car. MS Now also shared photographs of Arnoldo's injuries and the Conroe Police Department report detailing that his phone was stolen.
Oh, and then this is the crazy part too about how his phone was stolen. Just take a listen, man.
But then things took a strange turn. Arnoldo and Maria realized that the federal agents, whose identities they still don't know, had not returned Arnoldo's iPhone and AirPod headphones.
Never gave it back.
Do you know who took it from you?
Boy, I know it was them.
A bystander's video corroborates.
Look at that, his shirt ripped, all of that, man. Crazy, but we're past that already. Take a look.
It's his account, showing this agent passing his phone to the other. As this agent exits the store, both his phone and AirPods can be seen here in their left hand. Neither DHS nor DEA would respond to questions about this. That weekend, the Bazans tracked the phone on Apple's location service and found it traveled from Houston to a place 2.5 miles down the street from where agents left their father Arnolfo in the Montgomery Processing Center. Somehow the iPhone went from the possession of federal immigration authorities to this tech for cash pawn.
Damn, so they turned it into some money, dude.
That's flat out theft.
Absolutely. They're like, dude, what kind of recourse do these people have if they're illegal, you know? I think that's what the whole mentality about it was. They're like, dude, what's this kid gonna do? You know?
Well, I mean, the thing here the thing here is the kid illegal or not?
Right. If they let him go home, that's a good indication that he's not, you know, that he's born here.
If he's not illegal, then legally speaking, you know, what iPhone was it?
I couldn't tell you, man.
Because if it's an actual newer model iPhone, you have to go by the resale value, but a newer model iPhone, even at resale value, is over $1,000. So that's not petty larceny.
Yeah.
And
definitely take it to court. Yeah.
Yeah. So technically speaking, federal immunity would not shield them from that. Now, a federal judge probably would shield them from it, but still that's still getting closer to grand larceny.
Yeah,
so
not a good look.
Technically speaking, if you could find out the officers involved's names, technically, if the state wanted to, they could go after them.
No, absolutely. I mean, the fact that they were able to track it to this exact location, you know, they're definitely, they couldn't get away with it, you know.
Yeah.
I guess they figured, oh, you know, we put it in this machine, and then, you know, we're good. You know, our hands are clean. You know, but it's crazy, man.
On shop kiosk, Conroe police retrieved the phone for Arnoldo and took down this report obtained by MS Now, noting that whoever sold Arnoldo's phone for cash.
There it is. Second-degree felony.
Second-degree felony.
Yeah. They were trying to get rid of the evidence. Yo, man, see, this is what I was talking about.
That's crazy.
I don't. Yeah, no federal judge is going to give that an oversight.
Yeah, somebody's losing their job.
When I saw this entire story, this is where I was like, dude, I can't no more, man. I can't fucking talk about this. Holy crap, man. Like, really? Like, we have, like, this level of corruption in our country? I mean, don't get me wrong. We have...
Oh, so naive, dude.
Corruption so in our naive. Country, right? But... like, this is like where I was just like so unbelievably mind blown that I really had no idea how to react to this. You know, when you guys go down a rabbit hole and then after 5 to 6 hours of intense research, you just walk away completely different with a new outlook in life. That 5 to 6 hours of intense research, this video managed to pull that off, that feeling off in 20 minutes. And by the way, I know that
probably shattered his whole worldview, man. You know? Like he honestly thought he could probably trust the government, you know, and ICE and stuff, that they were just going to do their job. I'm like, dude, ICE is over here killing people, man, killing white people, shooting white people. You know,
well, that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. If a cop so much as perceives you as a threat, you know, they so much has every authority to just light you up, and they won't get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Unless there's a significant body of evidence that says otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you watch this documentary, it almost seems like this all occurred within a week or a week ago. No, this was about 1 or 2 months of collecting evidence. It just so happened to drop at the right time when the Alex Pretty shooting and the Renee Good shooting, all of that occurred. Listen, man, I don't know. I just don't want to keep talking about it, but you get what I'm saying. But anyways, guys, I just want to give you guys...
But see, that was a good video, though, you know, because it was insightful and it was like, it was kind of exciting, you know, like, I mean, it's not necessarily like, you know, it's kind of heartbreaking to see, you know, families getting split up and stuff like this, but that I understand that some of these topics aren't the easiest to cover, but you know, there's no reason to shy away from it or, you know, feel like that you're not equipped to talk about it, you know.
Yeah, I've been considering giving my take on the whole Reckless Ben and Bricks and Mini Figs saga.
Oh man, I know about that. Yeah.
And you know, for me, you know, once you actually start digging into some of the laws around it, it's like, geez, no wonder why Utah cops are so bold.
Yeah, I mean, I remember just a little bit of details about that and how, you know, it's like, even in the contract, you know, it still said that, you know, until it has sold or whatever, it's still the property of that person, you know, that originally put it in there. But when he came back for it, whatever, they're like, yeah, that's not, we don't have it. We don't have your stuff, you know? And the guy's like, it's clearly right there. It's behind the counter. Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, no, it isn't. You know, like, you got to talk to corporate. And yeah, dude, it's like, I love how, you know, businesses like that are just go talk to corporate, and of course corporate has no idea what's going on. So, but yeah, dude, that's about it, man. That's all I got. This has been the appreciation stream, possibly part 1 for Sonic Mindscape. We're probably going to come back next week, and me and Cabos will do the Obsession review, and hopefully by then Tito's Ghost, you can join us on that, and you can have some input as well. But yeah, that's all I got. Tito's Ghost, do you have anything you got that you're working on?
I'm still working on the video. I need a good hook for the intro part, but I'm kind of hoping this video blows up because, well, I'm not gonna, you know, out what the video is, but it's kind of important for the safety of kids on Instagram and Facebook, for Pete's sake here. So I'm hoping it hopefully it gets some measure of waves going. And then I finished up Borderlands 4 last stream, so I'm starting the new game, and I'm excited because I played the original Gothic way back in the early 2000s. And now that the remake's out, I've got it on PlayStation 5, and that's going to give me, my first playthrough was about 60 hours, and that's me doing the standard playthrough, not me going through the mage playthrough, but yeah.
Awesome,
But
man.
I'm doing that, and that'll be next week's. I mean, not next week's. Tomorrow's live stream.
Cool.
So yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you coming out. Everybody also that joined me on the stream tonight, Taking Souls for free, and Cabos as well. Appreciate you guys coming out. All the other hustlers that came out, Exo Charles, Hank Russell. Appreciate seeing you again, man. And also the member that came out, Mr. Steven. Appreciate you joining me for the stream as well. Coke Benny, appreciate you, sir. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have a good night. Take care, Ghosts.
You too, Camp. Have a good night. Peace out, everybody.
Peace. All right, you guys. So I'll see you guys on the next one. This is Camp Hustle 1. Out.
Hustlers unite every Saturday night. We shine bright, got the spotlight in sight. Live stream flames, haters take flight. Popping it with Hank, keep the vibe airtight.